Oke, udah mulai. Jadi kita live stream nonton PRX. Nah,
Not anything
oh ya,
specifically, but
ini mau setting apa
hopefully
ya?
today we
Gak ada
can
kayaknya
get our
dia.
revenge. So yep.
So the buy starting today, PRX goes
Nongjing
undefeated.
sudah balik
Genji
roster
undefeated.
PRX.
What?
Duh, Sony gue cok.
That's just saying how it is for now. Again, we don't know how this may go, but here is the PRX roster to date here in Pacific. They are now the only team who has a completely unaltered roster from last year.
From last year, I think Genji since kickoffs and Masters, they've been pretty much the same and still that good. PRX now we've got.
Gue tadi mau ngapain ya? Denger dulu. Gua sih ini, kayaknya kalah lagi
We're still on the
PRX.
roster. I hope this doesn't curse the team.
Beres sekarang emang ada Jing sih
But I
itu.
mean,
Gue
it's a
rasa
good
kalah
point
ya.
to bring up. It's something that we're all thinking about. Will the reintegration of Jing really give PRX that boost in firepower that they need? This starred raised duelist, with a movement coming back in. Will that give PRX enough of an edge to beat Genji?
We'll have to just wait and see. I mean, we know what kind of firepower Jing can bring to the table, what he is capable of. I'm curious to see the form of, widely the rest of the team. Is Mind Freak and just pop off mode? Is he just going to be absolutely destroying people, getting these crazy clutches that we know he's capable of? Does something have a hot start, or is it going to take a little bit to try to warm him up? Do we have to wait for that coach intervention to really start getting PRX rallied? That's what I want to see, because I think out the gate, both teams, they had a little bit of a slow start in their opening series, but that's to be
Kalau
expected.
emang ini menang,
Just recently had gotten back from
saya sedih sih.
Madrid, playing through an immense amount
Si
of
anak-anak
matches
ayam
to be
dan
able to
pengen
get
kan.
into those top 3 finishes
Berarti
that
kalah
they've
gara-gara
had.
kemarin
So it was going to take
saya
a
yang
little bit
main
for
nih
them to just
gitu-gitu.
get comfortable again back on Korean soil.
Yeah, not to mention Forsaken was just recovering from a bit of an
Yeah, he was
illness as
sick.
well, but he was still able to frag out of his mind, getting
Especially on
aces.
Lotus. Yeah, he was MVP with the Cypher on Lotus, but it's Forsaken after all. What I do not want to see from PRX though is these hero moments. While they're so cool for the highlight reels, we don't want to see any of that, because then it's really hard to, for them to go in too much further when you're relying solely on hero plays. And I don't know, maybe that is part of the PRX branding. Now we're looking at Texture and Jing. I am so curious about today to see this match up between these two guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's where things are going to get really spicy. I mean, one of the maps that you really would love to see in the pool is something like Split, where that double duelist also comes in for the side of Genji. Get Meteor versus something on the Jet battle, Texture versus Jing on the Raze, and just really see who's going to be able to take over. I think that there's so many things that are just tantalizing to think about when it comes down to this matchup, and it's gonna be sick.
It's going to be super sick, and I know a lot of people are excited. The stadium's actually full. It's packed to the brim for these two matchups today. Now we're looking at the historical data between these two teams and their map ban picks just for this year.
Gak jadi
And you
hujan,
can see
Cok.
PRX is not a fan of
Oh boy,
Icebox and Breeze. Especially early on. I think we saw that kickoff early on at Breeze, and they're like, we're going to stop playing Breeze.
Yeah, I mean, Icebox, I'm thinking of, when I think PRX Icebox, I think about
Tapi nggak masuk ke mic tuh sekarang ini.
I think about CTRS coming in
Kemarin
and playing
masuk kan
Gecko
suara
way
orang.
before Gecko was even thought about being meta on that. That's when it was a control pick.
pakai
As
speaker,
like
pakai
a last
speaker
raw
sih.
send off for it.
It was like a, why not? Let's try it.
And
Ame
Jing, the other one was
agarino.
Sunset. Also, I think
Which was
partially
Paper
inspired by
Suranu
PaperX.
Muna.
Yeah.
PaperX play at Sunset. You're like, we're also going to keep banning that.
Exactly. They started banning Sunset after that kickoffs game in the group stage where they lost to PaperX. Ever since then, it's a full-on Sunset ban. But that's why today's matchup is going to be so interesting. Map picks are going to determine how this series will go.
So
Okay.
Di-ban
Still don't want to
so-
play Sunset.
Classic.
Genji still doesn't
Sunset
want to play
di-ban,
Sunset.
man.
just wanna play
Ini
Breeze
respect
and
ban,
you
man.
don't wanna
Well, not against Genji.
Respect ban,
Gee,
respect
I'm
ban.
picking Lotus into PaperX.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would have thought for sure they'd go for Icebox.
Yeah.
Given that it's open, but
PaperX
What
are
is
the ones
happening?
taking Icebox.
PaperX is. Wait, they chose Icebox. This is.
Yes.
I hope it's not another troll pick, because the last time they picked Icebox, it was a troll pick.
I don't know. Look at Alex. It doesn't seem like it's a troll pick unless he's thinking something in his head with that
Does he
smile.
look like it's a troll face? I don't know.
Okay, I have
Di Icebox
many
siapa
questions.
duelisnya?
Genji are doing the Genji thing and taking their time though
Split
with the
open.
second
Oke,
ban.
Riz tuh nggak
Whoever's
stable
tuning in
kan.
for this match, you're gonna have some good stuff
They're
happening.
kind of stunned. They're
Well,
like,
this is the
why
thing.
Icebox?
Yeah, that's a big question for me. But also,
bawa
what do
Rena
you
ini
want
cowok
to ban
sama
here as Genji? I mean,
Ilya
PaperX
kayaknya.
with Jing in the roster, that's not where
Dua
they're
duelis kayaknya di Icebox.
where they've been
I'd
running like
say-
the crazy, triple duels or anything like that on split. So
Bind, perhaps. You know, like
showing him the one. Calling time. This isn't a poker table, Alex.
wow. Oh, they went and banned split.
Oh, no split. Okay.
Because maybe like
Maybe
anticipating the triple duelist.
Kemarin di split dibully-bully ya PRX.
Yeah, actually, maybe with Jing, the triple duelist
Right, that
could be
Berarti emang
viable.
gara-gara
That they had,
Jing, Cok.
that was something that Genji struggled with a little bit.
Respect ban
But
langsung
then,
ini.
you know, you have to ban a set. Yes, thank you,
Okay,
Alex.
so buying for the last map. I mean,
Oh.
Okay.
okay. I think really just depending on how this Icebox looks and what they have ready to go,
Icebox
This
bawa Rena
feels
lagi kayaknya cowok ini.
very heavily weighted towards PaperX's favor, to be honest, as far as the map draft is concerned, just at a glance.
Even with Icebox?
That's what I'm saying. It hinges on that.
Because
But
they picked Icebox.
Lotus, I think
Yeah.
these teams can go blow for blow. The
Yes.
bind, I think, a little bit more yet to be determined for Genji as far as what their overall strength is going to look like on that map. But PaperX, well enough first on it historically.
So
So
if
I feel
Icebox
like they have a slight
goes-
edge here.
Yeah.
Why are we still on this? Are they like, are you sure about this?
I'm picking this
Oh,
aside.
yeah, okay. I thought they were like, are you sure this is...
But it takes a
Your
while
final
because
pick.
you want to be very careful about which side you start on, especially against a team like PaperX.
I'm buying, too.
The thing is, yeah, and Genji electing to go for attack side first on bind. So I'm really curious what they're going to have for that. This is going to be interesting. It is worth noting, I should say, that we do have the PaperX
Oh, I love this so
gun
much.
up here. It's only we would have both, but the Korean desk had to take the Genji one. And we only have
They're
one.
happy to
We only
take
have
that
one
one.
copy of each gun, but these things look so clean.
They look really... Yeah, they're great.
And they're on display downstairs. Like
Yeah.
the
You can
fans
fire
can
We
them.
have
go up
Yeah,
to the.
all 11 teams are on display, but we decided to steal the 2 teams that are playing at any given time and split them amongst the analyst desks.
That's right. That's cool. This is really cool, guys. And if you want to see it up close, you can buy it in Valorant,
That's true.
the bundle, and
In
then you
Va-
can stare at it.
What about
And the
in real
Genji
life?
one. We have to
And the
be
Genji.
bipartisan here.
Absolutely. Which is also a great bundle with the Tiger and everything. Predictions. What's it gonna be?
Well,
I think this is a healthy mix, and
This is
I
a
think
very
that that's
healthy
good
mix.
to see.
Ngomong.
Because we have had some pretty landslide predictions in the past couple matches, and I think that this is pretty much the first map that really is a 50-50 at a really high level.
Ini keluar
So
emang
why
gara-gara
Genji?
efek Jun.
that's the question.
I mean, it just I think strictly because of just recency bias. They've been able to best them the most recent times that they scored off against each other. Yes, Jing
Luas
does
udah
come
ini.
back in, and overall, I think that
Masih
the team
mistik
looked
tuh.
good.
Walaupun ada
But I
Jing.
think that they have way more catching up to do compared to Genji. Both teams just recently got back from travel. Genji only need to focus on resting for the most part. Whereas PaperX need to focus on both resting, having Jason not be sick, and then also developing
Kayak
creating new
ayam,
set plays,
bro.
new strategies that they're going to have coming into these maps. So I think that they have more work to do with way less time.
For me, it's kind of like a pure faith pick, but also I feel like PaperX is a team that would have tricks up their sleeves, so I'm kind of hoping to see that. But I'm a little bit more curious, for Kilios. After seeing this map pick, after seeing Icebox coming in, would you, kind of flip-flop a little bit?
I mean, the fact that they, don't that they go to Icebox, I think it does lend itself to thinking that PaperX have something up their sleeve, that they're going to
Same
be doing
PaperX.
something incredible. But I'm still going to go with Genji. I mean, they've showed their perseverance.
Yeah.
I think again that Lotus is a little bit of a
Ngomongin
toss-up.
kata-
I think it's a bold choice.
Okay.
But
I want you to finish your statement after we invite Coach Alex. up here with us, so
With
you
the
can
coach.
explain
By all
yourself.
Right here.
So let's welcome Coach Alex from PRX.
Yes, please.
our
I was just,
favorite coach.
Getting
Hello, hello.
ready, dude.
Hi.
Relax.
Welcome back.
You like the icebox curveball?
We
Yeah.
love it.
Was that a troll pick? Like
No.
last time you picked it was a troll pick. It wasn't a mistake,
That was
right?
not a troll pick. Like last time, I promised Kla that he's gonna play one game. We practiced for 5 weeks, and then they told us icebox is leaving the map pool, so we had to pick it.
Okay.
So it's a integrity thing.
It's staying in the map pool this
Justified.
time, just so
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. So now it's slightly better prepared.
Did you know at that time that when he played Gecko there that it was going to end up being the meta on Icebox?
No, but I mean,
You guys invented
Yes.
it.
Yes.
of course.
There you go.
We're Gecko, like we
You're a
love Gecko.
genius.
I'm
You're so smart.
It's not me actually. It's Kla.
It's Claude. Okay.
He's actually the one that's created the Gecko meta in the world, right?
That's
'Cause
true.
He's
He's
the only
only-
Gecko meme.
That's true.
Yes.
Now, thoughts on Achilles' Gen G prediction?
You know, I'm a superstitious guy, so, and I'm not a stats guy, but I need to know your hit rate.
I have to go with the recency, and I think that you guys have had your hands full with needing to reintegrate Jing into the team. You know, one of the things we talked about last time you were on the desk was, can we expect anything new? And the answer was no. We've had 5 days of practice.
Yeah, now we have
there's not
9.
that much time.
We have
and
9 now.
now it's 9 days.
Little bit
So
better.
I'll be curious to see if there are going to be some overarching changes in the comps and the strategies and whatnot. But I think that Gen G, it's been a little bit easier for them to just kind of hone in since they got back from
For
Madrid.
Icebox, you mean?
Oh, just
In
generally.
general? I mean, they didn't have much time either, you know, like, all of us, we both came back like 1 day apart, so...
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if they took a short break, it would have been 9 days of practice as well, so it's quite fair, in fact.
I want to ask you about your results in Madrid.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys got third, which was awesome, but I think you guys seem
Huh?
a little bit unsatisfied with those results too. What were some of the learnings from Madrid against Gen
Alright. I'm quite satisfied.
Are you? Okay, I was mistaken.
No, I mean, Madrid. I think we went there a little bit low confidence, you know, we were trying to fix our mindset mostly. So I think getting the third, we managed to get match practice in, you know, get stuff out of the way, like discuss with each other, try to make sure that we are aligned again. I think we took a step in the right direction there. So as far as I'm concerned, very satisfied for whatever happened in Madrid.
Do you think Gen G's improved since Madrid, based on the performance you saw last week?
Yeah, you can really see them adding things in their Lotus. In Madrid, some teams are using specific Viper mollies to control A-main from defense side. As soon as they came back, I can see them molly in their game against Talon, so I know they're actually still working the map pool. And I think, yeah, if they pick Lotus against us, I think they know that that's the strongest map.
I am a little bit curious about Lotus, but I do think that picking Icebox is like 200 IQ genius move. But if there is anything to watch out for Gen G, like what would you say that is? Like what's their
On
strongest
Icebox or in
thing?
general?
In general.
I mean, they're coming off like full confidence, you know. Sure, you lose the finals, but I thought it was very, very close. You know, it could have gone either way. It's enough to give you the boost you need, you know, to say, okay, I'm coming back to my region. The game should be easier, and we've beaten PRX twice, you know. So I think we're gonna play against a very confident Gen G, and I'm hoping that we fight them, you know. I hope there's gonna happen like a brawl.
I have one last question. This is actually for both of you.
Another one.
no.
How's your day going?
Well, it's going great.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Did you
did
eat
go
the
great.
snacks?
For both of us?
Just wanted to
Good,
catch
good,
up.
good, good.
Make sure everyone's just vibing.
So far, so
Yeah.
good. So far, so good.
Doing good?
Any stress eating so far today?
Stress eating?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good.
I'm on diet now, you know. I'm trying to.
How are you? That's great. I love to hear that. Well, thank you so much, Coach. All the best.
Bye bye.
Aw,
Kamsahamnida. Kamsahamnida.
Kamsahamnida.
so much respect. I love it.
Yeah. I did want to ask about Jing, but, you know, he's got to go down and coach. And I'm curious how Jing is going to be performing this time. I think, Kilios, you made a great point about Jing's performance. While phenomenal, there were shaky moments in his gameplay.
Yeah, and I think, I think that we expected that whether it was a roster change or not, given that the teams were traveling back from Madrid. But, I think that roster change just kind of compounded and added on to what would have been fairly normal shakiness that you see, post-event. So I think that it is going to be a stronger team coming into this. I like Alex talking about Lotus right there, saying like, okay, we do have to be a little bit concerned about this, even though it's a very comfortable map for us. If Gen G are going to be picking that into us, they clearly feel very confident on it, and I think that goes, the opposite side for that Icebox pick. So this could just end up being neither team wins on their map pick, but we go to 3. I very well could see that happening.
I would love to kind of see that happening. I feel like Gen G's Lotus is really strong, but I am curious about what the agent picks would be, because Icebox coming in then, Jing, is it going to be still that Raze or back to a Sage, a Battle Sage? What's it going to be?
Well, we're going to find out really soon. We're going to go down to the stage, so welcome the players.
It's the rematch, the pride of Pacific, Gen G and PRX, 2 teams that were at the top 3 of the world recently at Masters Madrid. But another side to the story is PRX going through the never-ending Korean gauntlet to try to buy back the hearts of the Korean fans once again here in Seoul. My name is William, joined by Paper Thin, and we'll be bringing you this first match of the night. And boy, what a way to start.
No, I mean, this is like a day that you had to have had marked on your calendars once you saw the Stage 1 schedule come out. Obviously, this could be another rematch coming into our Stage 1 finals. You know, today could just very well be like what the semifinals could be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's such an exciting day overall. So, like, you want to see some interesting stuff here from both teams. I would Jing back. It's going to be interesting with PRX pretty much no matter what.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part here is that this Gen G squad, obviously individually they've done it before, but as a team, they've actually never played against the Jing version of PRX, right? They never met each other during the off season, and now they'll have to go through this new iteration. So I'm really curious, how does that affect Gen G, and of course, how does it affect PRX, as the desk was discussing that. But now it's time to see how all the players are looking, getting ready for their match today, trying to get a couple more championship points, and of course, leading their group to try to secure their spot into the playoffs. First up, it's going to be Gen G, and of course followed by their nemesis now in Pacific, PRX.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great storyline coming into this year with the way that already both of these teams have had to square up against each other multiple times, including at Masters Madrid. So this is really, really interesting. You know, as PRX, going back to what worked for them previously last year when they got second at Champs with Jing in the lineup, you know, it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be high-octane gameplay for sure. But Gen G, in my opinion, does a pretty good job managing some of those teams that try to get aggressive against them, that try to push space, that a team like PRX is definitely going to try to embody. We know that. We've seen it time and time again. So let's see exactly how both teams are going to kind of move their chess pieces around against each other. And with Lotus as a start, a map that both teams are pretty familiar with, so it's going to be really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's not going to be any asterisks here in that first map, right? The second map of Icebox, obviously some question marks still remain, but in this first map, sure, Gen G a very comfort pick. And while this is one of those maps that's always plagued PRX in terms of how do we figure out our own meta, do we even follow the regular meta, etc., they've always been able to at least put up great numbers on it, win or lose. Of course, most recently still showing that they are willing to return to that double duelist with Something and Jing at the helm.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a lot of that today, most likely. You know, definitely Something is very comfortable on the Jet, Jing very comfortable on the Raze, and they're good enough and they're smart enough that they can make those kind of things work. So, just curious on Lotus. Every once in a while, PRX, you know, likes to mix it up a little bit, you know what I mean? But they will throw in the Reyna maybe sometimes with Something, but generally I think you can expect the Jet Raze and then some other things to follow. And that other things do kind of change from time to time. Sometimes Forsaken does move away from the Cypher.
Yeah.
It all just kind of depends on what they've been able to cook up, and like they were talking about during the interview, right? Haven't had a ton of time here for PRX. So I would expect some pretty comfortable agent picks will be my guess.
Yeah, it's actually very, I found it quite amusing that Coach Alex said that they think they're pretty much on even ground, because while sure, you both had the same amount of time after returning from Madrid, again, this Gen G squad got to basically use now Masters Madrid as experience to continue building on as a whole team, whereas PRX, it's readjusting, of course, to their old form, their old core, but readjusting nonetheless. I mean, they've talked about it even in that their opening match here at Pacific of Jing needing to get used to the current meta, right? What pros are doing in scrims and in matches, things like that. So we'll see. Was 1 week enough to get Jing really dialed in perfectly? Because we saw a lot of hits of their old colors in that first week.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, it's funny, you know, Jing was watching all the matches, obviously. He was co-streaming Masters Madrid. But then I was talking to them, and he said even when he got into the games, like for the practice again, he said already PaperX was playing way different than he was expecting. It was still taking him time to get into things. So it's even though you watch it, even though you've seen it, even though you think you kind of understand the concepts, it's actually playing at that speed is very, very difficult at the pro level because things change so quickly like you're talking about.
Well, there's not going to be any changes for this map, though, in terms of composition. Gen G going with the stock standard, the fade on top of the raise, and meanwhile, PaperX still sticking with the single controller, but going with double duelist, Something and Jing. Of course, Jing kind of leading the charge a lot whenever they do this. Something really there for the trades, the opping, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really exciting to watch. I think especially the way that Divide can work with Something on this sky, I think is really impactful. The way he can set him up with those guiding lights is often really destructive. Like, PaperX is a team that has a lot more success taking the A site than most teams do on Lotus because of that combo, because of the ability of Ilya. And he also changes up his guns, right? You've seen him take the Judge and things like that.
Yeah.
The Shorty, very, very powerful on some of those corners. And it's a lot of Divide oftentimes setting him up for those close quarters engagements.
We'll see Gen G, how do they prepare against it? Coach Alex gave them credit for already adapting to things they had picked up from Masters Madrid.
Lotus.
But now with PaperX just peering into the notes against Gen G, how well can they adapt in-game? We will kick off map 1 of this best of 3. It's a rematch of the kickoff finals, and it could be a preview of upcoming finals as well in the future. Gen G on defense versus PaperX on attack.
No doubt, a duel of the fates, it seems to feel like, for 2024. So very excited to see exactly how this is all going to shape out. And already kind of a different look here for Gen G on this pistol round. 3 right down to B. Ooh. And I think they have a pretty decent read on what PaperX likes to do. You're going to see this. These 3 in particular play a lot together on this map on the defender's side. The Fade, the Raze, and the Omen. The combos here really, really devastating with the Haunt into the Paranoia, the Blast Packs. The smokes are really well placed by Karon. I went back and watched some of the VODs of this map. I'm so impressed with the way Karon plays Omen.
Yeah, I mean, he's really grown into one of his own, and it's going to be a read, but Jing's going to get the first shot and leading in numbers as well. PaperX not going to pick up the tempo, though, with the counter paint shows coming out. Slows them down, and now just leaving a lurk. They will reset to explore other parts of the map. Now rotating over to Mount, they would have control of the revolving door as well.
This is huge. They get the heals off as well from Divine. So yeah, Mindfreak taking quite a bit of damage there in that exchange, but able to get him up a little bit. The door is open, and looks like PaperX is really highly considering a full-on C-exec.
Yeah, but despite the heals, of course, not all topped up just yet. Munchkin, can he get the nice shots in through? And the Poison Cloud comes up, but Forsaken, he still somehow crouches through, continues moving forward, dodges the bullets, and now Texture. I mean, it's a 2v3. No real point of waiting for backup. He's got to dwindle the numbers, but he's been checked out through that one-way. Meteor now on the backup, and PaperX, they've taken their post-plant positions, 3 spread apart with crossfires all the way through. But a nice headshot from Meteor, kicks things up, and before he catches the trip, he's got to get the second, down to a 1v1, and Texture already wrapping around. Gen G will recover the pistol round for a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I think PaperX is going to be kicking themselves a little bit after that one. Unaccounted for. That late push from Meteor, still at a Paranoia, still at a flash in hand. They weren't able to confirm any of that information, get an idea of where they're coming from. Divide just straight up loses that battle to Meteor. And certainly Mindfreak trying to do what he can, but Gen G there, well read, even though they lose that opening play there. Jing just gets a drive-by with the Frenzy. And even though they're able to heal him up, track the movements of PaperX quite nicely. Shift their weight over to that C site, and Meteor so clean on this map on that killjoy. He's so devastating post plant. He's so smart with his timings. He's so accurate. Such a difficult player to deal with.
And that's exactly who PaperX is going to be meeting up with here in round 2, taking that ult orb on C, but they're not going to push just yet. Of course, set up their own one-way for a little bit of delay. Of course, a lurk already coming through for PaperX as well. A lot of movement around the map, trying to make sure that they have options moving forward. The alarm bot tripped, gotten rid of, and now took a little bit of damage on the side of Forsaken, but of course with the Sheriffs, they're just looking for these one-taps. They've pushed C, they've pushed B. Now setting their sights onto the A side, pushing Karon back on a timing.
And he's going to have a smoke back up in a second. Let's see if they can take advantage of that. They're going to try to make an entry of it, and Karon, knowing that he's all alone, just going to back off. Yeah, it's really smart of him. He knows that this is likely a death ball coming at him.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the eco, especially with PaperX and Texture, not going to greet it either. They recognize the push has come through. Karon just going to look to hold close quarters with a Spectre stuck on tree. But look at this, Gen G already aware of the possibility of a rotate back into B. Meteor, he's been blinded, but now he's got his sights back. Lakia there, but still a 1-for-1, 2-for-2 trade for PaperX. Pushing Heaven, picking up weapons. Texture recognizes the danger, has to keep them at bay. Now it's all three members of Gen G pinching onto the site. Karon takes care of one. The double of PaperX stuck on Heaven. Texture just keeping them at bay until his teammates are able to pinch in. But Defy gets a kill on the drop. Karon hoping for backup from Texture, and they'll both get a kill each at the same time, recovering the anti-eco.
Yeah, great patience at the end from Gen G. This is something that has made them so successful this year, is they're rarely not attacking together when there's at least a couple players left. Like, the trades are great, the flank timings are really, really good. That means the communication is really, really good for Gen G. A great paranoia from Mindfreak to bust this open, and a couple great shots to back it up. Left Meteor very uncomfortable there. Karon there working that Spectre very nicely against the Guardian, not giving it really much opportunity to find an easy headshot from that angle. So well played by him, buying time as well. So very nice for Gen G. So they get the expected win, but still a decent amount of damage done here by PaperX. Leaves it on only a couple Guardians, some Ghost and 2 Sheriffs.
Yeah, I mean, you lost a Bulldog and a Guardian, right? Bought triple Guardians there to try to really snowball things forward as both teams trying to have a bit of a skirmish to control Rubber. It's going to be a late delay from Gen G. We've seen a lot of teams adjusting to this. It's going to be a high-low from Karon as well, off of all the util masking the sound. And that is Rubble taken over. No weapons dropped on the side of Gen G. Just said upgrades coming through, but Forsaken, we've seen him lurk through so early once again from Baby Door. It's gonna be a triple. Can he get yet another ace? He seems to do it every time here on Lotus. And now Gen G spread apart, having to fight solo on either side of the map, while PaperX, they'll be grouping up as 3. They don't want to make the same mistakes. They want to make sure that they're there for trades. But Meteor has led them on a bit of a wild chase all the way around the site. Texture gets spotted by the cam. Looks like, Gen G, they may not have time to really activate anything here with the remaining timer of the spike.
Texture able to upgrade the gun, cannot win the duel against Devi though.
And it's just Meteor, who doesn't actually have a weapon either, so he'll have to go for whatever damage he can get, trying to isolate the 1v1s. He gets one. Oh, I thought he might be able to get 2. Of course, the spike's still ticking down. It's going to be the round win for PaperX.
This is a really interesting execute here. Not an execute, like a space take for Gen G, let's put it that way. They did not do anything quite like this when they played Talon. This is a very different look there.
But Talon did this against them, right?
Exactly,
a lot of that delayed retake of Rubble.
No, exactly. So this was like something they weren't really doing, and the combos they used here are a little bit different. Karon was rarely getting up on top of Rubble. It's usually allowing Texture to work the backside of Rubble, while Karon smokes for him and paranoias for him, and then the Fade is there to grab a haunt to try to get a reveal for Texture. Very different look. This is much more like what they usually do on these takes. You can see a Boombot this time to clear that space. Really well read here by PaperX. This was something Talon never really addressed, and Karon's going to go to try to get up top again. PaperX doesn't want to mess with this right now. They're going to wait things out, spread the map a bit.
Tries to reposition on a timing there, and something will get the peak. I mean, Munchkin recognizing that he didn't really have an exit, want to get close to one side or the other, but he will be picked off. That forces Gen G to reinforce their B site, and that's just going to leave something here as a distraction on the side of PaperX. They'll even open the door to make sure that backup does not arrive onto the C site. Meteor, can he hold on to this alone? But it's going to be a perfect paranoia, and he's been surrounded. He's just trying to stay alive, but it's too many members, and now the flood of Gen G that used to be so perfect has been broken apart into just a couple drops. PaperX, all alive, spiked down, and looking forward to a flawless round here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so difficult to play against the speed and aggression of PaperX and the combos of all that utility flying in there. I mean, time and time again, every team in the world that's had to face them has had to deal with it. And you never quite know what to expect because the timings are always a little bit different. They're always a little bit uncharacteristic from what you saw in their previous replays. Like, they're kind of shifting how and when things happen with their utility. Like, the paranoia might come a little bit later. The guiding light might come a little bit later. Things like that. make it really difficult. You could see Meteor there just had no idea what to do on the C side. He's just trying to find some kind of safety, and there was none.
Yeah, and I think a lot of something that PaperX has learned as well is that Gen G will oftentimes be prepared for those trades, right? So they don't want to take any chances. If you're going to go into the site, we might as well dump everything we have. Make sure that we are coming out on top, because that is something that plagued them both times where they made up against Gen G so far in 2024. Take a look at some of these replays as they just barrel into the C site. Now, as we see the adjustments coming in on both sides, it's going to be Gen G who's going to be lacking the credits. We'll still have a couple of rifles. They're going to force up to a certain extent, just towing that line for a half armor buy, and of course a Marshal for Meteor. And we're not going to see any of the ults come line as Texture, of course, already sent to Showstopper.
Never count out Meteor with a Marshal. He's one of the best in the business with that gun. The deeper paint shells this time, no space taken off of it, just trying to bully them away a little bit, although the cam did go up here for PaperX, so they know that they can push a little bit further. They could take advantage of this site, which maybe Gen G is expecting them to have backed off a little bit. Now, Forsaken over towards B as well. Really important here.
I mean, PaperX, they recognize that if no one's pushing Rubble after that utility, somewhere else there has to be more info, and they're going to start to combat for that space, and Forsaken is going to have a great time to take over B side as the rest of the main force is starting to pressure A, drawing out a lot of utility from the defending team. During this, Forsaken on the minimap, checking out the entry points into B. Will he have a timing? Meteor has his eyes set, but PaperX, they just want to pinch in. They realize with the number of utility flying into A, it's going to be a safe bet. Now Jin going all the way far back, perhaps way too far ahead of his team. No backup there. A rifle dropped for Gen G to pick up. This could be a bit danger. PaperX recognizing that, they'll start to push out.
That was tough there for Jing. Couldn't quite get his aim under control. Maybe seeing a little bit of that rust on him. Gen G realign for this retake. 3 gonna pressure Forsaken here. They've got a crossfire set up.
Yeah, it looks like Gen G, they just want to make sure that they're able to pick up a couple more weapons before they go in. And look at that, a triple peak, high-low crouch as well, but now it's back to a double from the side of PaperX. They're not letting this go yet. Mind Freak will spray down the remaining members, and Texture all alone with a Sheriff. Can't make the magic happen this time. PaperX will be taking over the lead, 3-2.
I mean, Mind Freak looking really sharp here today on this Omen. Not only with his utility, but his shooting. Crisp as heck. 7 kills so far for him. Showstopper for Jing. A little bit whiffy, but you know, Jing just taking a little bit to get into it. We've already seen that after a couple maps. He felt pretty comfortable in the first go-around against T1, so certainly expect him to pick up the pace. And are we going to see one of those quintessential off-the-rip fast hits from PaperX? The double satchel, yeah, exactly. The double satchel into the Showstopper. Definitely something to be considered for Gen G for sure.
Yeah, PaperX, they've already taken him out. They're not masking any sound here. It looks like they're going to be ready for a boombot scent as well, trying to make sure that Meteor cannot combat this. He doesn't have much to work with. All his Yuto already taken down, but it's Charon here for backup. Munchkin as well. They actually get fired back upon. Mind Freak is just continuing the spree. So he takes one down, and that opens up a timing here for PaperX to enter the site. Meteor, can he hold on to it? No, the flash is too good. The paint shells will keep him tied up, and the Showstopper will make sure no one else from Gen G can approach as Charon eventually gets taken down from the lurk of Forsaken as well.
Forsaken didn't have his fun out, and still Charon couldn't quite get him in time. So tricky to deal with. The Showstopper comes out, and Forsaken's already lurking on your back line. Ooh, the dink through the wall there by Texture.
Doing some damage, but there's just so much to get through, and you don't have much space to work with. Lakia will still be able to fire back against Jing, but a lot of that timer's already run down. The spike ticking away. They're still going to go for it. Prowler on pressure for Texture to run in, seemingly wanting to take advantage of that low health on the dink. And it's going to Texture. He lands just onto the tripwire, and at this point, Lakia, he doesn't have a way out either, just trying to fight for his life, making sure that they do not chase. And it's just the lone Vandal saved up. Forsaken on the hunt. He knows that he just has to try to go for a run and gun, but will not greed for it either. Stabilizes at a 4-2.
Yeah, it's really interesting because normally you expect PaperX to kind of just come at you off the rip, you know, when Jing's got a Showstopper and things like that, but they're slower with it. They're not quiet about it because the footsteps were being given away. It's almost like PaperX is trying to bait out Gen G a little bit to see what their reactions are going to be here early, to see what they can get away with. And when that double door opens, Mind Freak is so crisp right now. He's just ready for it. Gets one, does a ton of damage to another, and then Jing able to perfectly place his paint shells, use that showstopper to push them towards Forsaken. Forsaken a little bit lucky to get away with his kill on Charon, but still the ideas for PaperX are really, really good right now.
Yeah, just a lot of adjustment, having learned from their previous matchups, understanding that Gen G will always have a plan to provide backup. If not, the site's going to be left empty, right? They have things like the lockdown. So PaperX not wanting to take any chances of dumping things into the void and then getting flooded upon. Really understanding the habits of Gen G, and I think this is one of those maps where Gen G is starting to get tested all the way to their limits. How much deeper does your kind of baseline fundamental playbook go, right? It's not about the set plays anymore, it's about how you're adjusting to the tempo of the opponents. We'll have to see how much their homework has been done as we take a look at round 7. The Econ once again quite broken on the side of Gen G, just the lone Vandal carried over, and Meteor will be relying on a trusty old Marshall once again. Up on the other side for something.
And these wins are so huge for PaperX because they keep those ults in a weird cycle. They're not able to really get those down and start cycling them back again. So you're just, essentially eating through ult orbs that you would love to have. Instead, they're not able to really get like the Nightfall there, the lockdown as well in play in that previous round. Able to find any availability to use them. That works so nicely in PaperX's favor. And by the way, this is a map where both teams are really good on their defender side usually. Gen G has been really stalwart in their defense on this. Now they're going to overstack C. I'm expecting that this is where PaperX feels like they have a good read onto Meteor and his positionings.
Yeah, but backup all arrived, right? And this is even with that snake bite to try to fake them out away from A's side. It's going to be Tesher who's trying to make sure he blocks them up, but he's a little too scared to fire the first shot. Wants to line them out, and that gives time for Jing to turn around for a double.
Ya ampun, sayang banget itu.
Uncharacteristic of the star duelist of Gen G to hesitate on the trigger. Let the round slip away. Charon, the rookie, last one alive, and Forsaken continuing the jiggle for another round win.
It's just incredible, the timing and the coordination you can already find here. You're just going to dive in with the shorty as you would kind of expect, but then you have Jing up on the box to cover you as well, so this executes so good. Late Paranoia right on top of Munchkin there. Even if he had maybe gotten a kill on Jing or something like that, didn't even matter, but still, love what PaperX is doing. Really nicely timed hits. They're kind of waiting things out, feeling out Gen G enough, and then they're able to do what you were talking about earlier, Will, that they're just dumping utility when they know they can get value out of it, and that's been really powerful. Big hit, trade, Meteor and Charon
as well. Mindfreak trying to stabilize, but eventually goes down, and PaperX really choose to stay and fight. Forsaken wondering if the Prowler would spot him. It does eventually, but he's on duty now. He has to lead the forces as something still sticking with the operator for the time being. Both trying to open up the right side of the map. Targeting B site and Rubble. Something's going to make a lot of noise, waiting for Forsaken to gain some intel in the middle of the map. And Gen G, they don't want to fall for this. They're trying to make sure they group up all the way in defender spawn and make sure they don't let Forsaken know of their whereabouts. Spike plant, heard by Meteor. Going to Entron to drop, and it looks like it's just going to pinch even with the Nightfall to make sure. He does get tagged right at the end, has no audio. A little bit of that decay as well.
Still has the Blade Storm. Back pocket, lockdown gonna have to be invested.
I mean, Gen G, they really want to make sure that they don't get pinched from the flank as well. They are prepared for everything, and Lakia with a snap on, but something with a flick to answer back. And now the lockdown goes through. Still not enough time, though. The defuse already started, so some heroics from something, but a desperate round win for Gen G.
And I mean, consolation prize, I suppose, for PaperX is you got him to use 2 big ults in a 2v3. That's like a huge win in my book for PaperX. Yeah, you lose the round to that early aggression, essentially. A great idea, great change of tempo for Gen G to just kind of push out. And it looked like PaperX might have been somewhat ready for it, at least on the C side, but the B side caught him enough off guard that it was able to be a punch through for Gen G. Get a much needed round win, especially with rifles in hand to bank up a little bit of extra economy because it is deep pockets for PaperX right now. They've got some ults again. Showstopper once again for Jing going to be available. You do have the Viper's Pit for Munchkin. See how he wants to use it, but I think he's going to be a little bit patient for it. You want to make sure that you aren't going to be cleaned out early. Maybe if they get a spot on you and the Showstopper in the right place.
Yeah, generally, Gen G, one of those teams that does like to wait for a little bit of a surefire way to send that ultimate, even if it's on a timer near the end of the round, something like that. So we'll have to wait and keep our eyes on Munchkin. But like you mentioned, Gen G's ult economy, a little bit mixed up, whereas PaperX, they've got their options even with the operator. Now Texture waiting on the C side for Gen G with his own operator that allows his teammates to be ready with a trap play near Baby Door. Paranoia already spent though, so Charon just gonna have to wait for the crossfire. The tripwire sent, no reaction. Forsaken trying to bait this out. He knows that this door is open for a reason. And now the execute on through the revolving door is going to happen. Wow. Jing sends it, uses the showstopper as an extra boost to move forward, dodge all the bullets. And the site has just been broken open. So we do see a bit of a trade near Baby Door, but something is the guard. Can you get through him? Oh, the barrel. No idea. Lakia still hidden right by it. They sniffed something, but not how close enough it was. And now the retake. Gen G, 3 members ready for the flood. Lakia just trying to draw a lot of aggro towards that Baby Door side. Draw them out into the open. Mind Freak going for a bit of a Hail Mary with the front of the shadows. Meteor going to stabilize the shot first. But now the pinch. Gen G, they hear his shots. And it's going to be a peek out from Texture, but he gets taken down. Mind Freak still going for it. Half already done by Munchkin. The defuse, they just want to try to stick it. But the spam's coming through, it's ticking down. You have to stick it now. And he's pinpoint on for the headshot. And Dubai will clean it up. A 2v2 victory for PaperX.
Yeah, beautiful read here by Mind Freak. Been so good for PaperX on this half. Using his ult at the perfect time. Putting himself right at drop. An interesting spot to go. You might expect as Gen G that he goes a little bit deeper with it. Have to invest the Viper's Pit. Try to make this retake a little bit safer. But the crossfire good. Texture just not quite able to find that shot with the picked up operator off of something. Now something is going to grab that judge. Finally probably going to invest the Blade Storm as well. Got that 3-man execute towards Rubble for Gen G, but nobody from PaperX is even going to be in that destination.
Oh man, I love this from PaperX. Anytime Gen G is weak on their buys, it's going to be Meteor who's targeted. But you can't count this guy out with single shots. He'll take down 2. It's going to be the Raze and Sky down. Something also taking a big hit. And that will slow down PaperX. So Meteor, a bit of an adjustment there. Instead of waiting in the site, pushes out towards Mound to challenge them early. Allows his teammates to come for backup. And now B and C site have been flooded. They will be found through the neural theft.
And now they're going to change ideas. Saw too much pressure. Try to make it work onto B. Forsaken looking for the pick off the ping, but not quite able to find himself that kill. Plant going to be able to come down. Switch to the Vandal.
Oh, with the classic. Woo. Oh, takes him down. That's a rifle upgrade. Now Forsaken's lurk. Are they ready for this? They have no idea. Forsaken, he'll just take the 1 kill. He's happy to buy time to try to bring home this round victory. Tries to flick up, but that's a tough one. Lakia will be able to find that kill. Mind Freak dodges, and he won't be able to connect to the second one. Munchkin picking another with the Sheriff, and it's going to be the Thrifties of Gen G that return.
Yeah, the classic Gen G Thrifty. So good at this, and Meteor just a little bit further ahead than maybe PaperX was expecting. They got the ping off the flash, and I could see some level of potential preparedness there for PaperX that maybe somebody would be at that mound, but Meteor was just too fast and too good. And Forsaken tries to double pump a bit after he got that 1 lurk kill, but Lakia reads it perfectly, and that he's still going to be trying to pressure that angle. It's so nasty from Meteor there. I mean, you can see they're firing at him. They're pre-firing, trying to get to him. Meteor's just too quick, too good.
He's been in that position so many times before.
He's insane, man. I mean, with those, like you said, the one-tap weapons, there's few that are better.
Well, now Texture, he'll have to get an operator bot from his teammates. They were trying to look for one, but little did they know, PaperX didn't invest in another in that previous round. And there won't be another this time either as we go into the last couple of rounds of the first half. PaperX still leading 6-4. Something dashes ahead of Rubble, takes all this space, and he's ready for it as well. Sees the tag, sees Lakia getting hit right through the Toxic screen. No idea what hit him. And now 2 members of Gen G still on the A side. But a lot of risk, tries to take the shot, but he's a little too late, only hits the Trailblazer. And another swing out, but Texture, good for another. Oh, that's going to be the double blast pack. Completely draws the crosshair away. And PaperX seems to have good control of this A site once again.
The reaction protocols from PaperX are so good. Right on the back of that Trailblazer to try to set something up. Yeah, he dies, but immediately Jing satchels past the operator, knowing that he's stuck in place without using satchels of his own to get out. There's no quick out for Texture there, and Jing and Forsaken take perfect advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Absolutely an honest moment of, was it a bird, was it a plane? No, it was Jing. But by the time he figured that one out, Texture was down and out. Now it's going to be the 7th round win for PaperX. Finally bringing some good old meta balance to the attacking and defending win rates to Pacific.
Yeah, it was about time. I mean,
we haven't seen this
Pretty good,
no, I
quite
know.
so often.
I know. Lotus has been a super defender-sided map, but this is going to be the team ace for PaperX. They will claim a 7th round, at least a positive half, no matter what happens in the last one. Let's see if Gen G can make it 7-5. Money should be just there. I think, not exactly sure for Gen G. Gonna need to
Mostly,
see
I
another
think
look.
so.
Yeah, I think they have just enough to get through with the buys.
I mean,
This is so nasty from Jing. What do you do against this?
yeah, and then he still gets Karon as well. Karon trying to figure out where he needs to provide backup, but it's just too fast. And while Jing has to adapt a little bit, okay.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna go for a Sheriff, a Bucky, and a Spectre on the side of Gen G, all to make sure that Texture can get an Operator. Just so we're clear, he hasn't fired too many shots with that weapon in this first half.
No, it is quite the mixed bag here for Gen G. Try to see if they can shut this down. And look at PaperX kind of ping-ponging here, and it's so fast. They're already on B. Forsaken already taking space, already trying to see if they can clear this open.
I mean, it's as if they have a hard read on this off-buy, right? The force up, seeing that the weapons probably all over the place. We just have to make sure we don't run into the Operator, nor any of the amazing ultimates on the side of Gen G. Nightfall gets used. 2 members will dash out, but something gets ahead of it. Doesn't need audio when he's up in the air, and it's going to be the showstopper trying to keep the rest of PaperX at bay, but Jing jumping forward, gets a lot more kills, and now just Meteor left alive. Picks up the Operator. He's always been good for 1, but can he be good for 3? Not even a single kill, as it will be an 8-4 half for PaperX.
I mean, this is starting to look like 2023 PaperX for sure. I mean, yeah, there was some really good ideas here early on where PaperX was kind of baiting utility, trying to figure out exactly how Gen G was going to play things. You weren't seeing some of that same control either from Gen G towards Rubble that they were doing time and time again against Talon. You know, a lot of times Gen G, you would see the Fade, the Omen, and the Raze all taking that Rubble control early and then using that to kind of box Talon in. However, PaperX was kind of like waiting it out, and they'd say, okay, we could send something forward a little bit. Okay, they don't like what they see. They're going to pull back, and they're really brutalizing Meteor on that C site early and often, and that kind of set things off kilter for Gen G. It didn't really feel like they were ever comfortable. And then a lot of times, Gen G's been really good so far this year with anticipating like some of those deep pushes after a plan goes down, and they did a really good job absorbing that pressure against like Talon.
Sure.
But today, I mean, it's because it's PaperX, because they stagger so many things at you so quickly. It's so tough to deal with.
And the tempo changes as well from round to round. It's not just the old W gaming all the way through, right? Sometimes you're baiting out the ultimate. Sometimes you're trying to get ahead of it. PaperX definitely
bro.
starting
What's
to
up?
creep into Gen G's head a little bit. Now Gen G will have to clear their minds as they now take the initiative on the attacking half. Toxic screen set up on A, the default screen to help take control of Rubble. And it's going to be 4 ghosts, just a half armor.
You got through
Karon.
Of course, PRX, bro.
You can just stack towards B.
Absolutely no question.
Once again.
This is looking just like our previous pistol round. It's just different teams on different sides, but it's like almost the exact same setup. So you're going to rely on Forsaken for PaperX to kind of lock down the A site, get the info for a retake potentially.
I'm rooting for PRX, but I don't think they're going to win. Gen G was absolutely
right away. The guiding light, it is going to be antied, and there's the paranoia, counter paranoia as well. Do they recognize
their
where it
play
came
from Madrid in the kickoff.
A little too late, and their crosshair shaken up by the boombot as well. Double kill for Jing. The answer back from the door
PRX
from
for life.
as well.
Plus they got B. Yeah,
PaperX now at
that's what I'm
3v2.
curious to.
But of course, the battle still 2v2.
Because on kickoff and Madrid,
the approach on the A side.
they're playing with
pretty good
Monyet,
read now for Gen G, moving towards
and they
C,
losing bet
seeing if they can get it.
from
But of
Gen G.
course, as is tradition, PaperX not letting go of those W keys and just going to keep right at their heels, right behind them. Now Laki is watching it. Is he going to be able to get it? Nope,
No.
that's spiked down too.
Not quick enough, and Munchkin, he's afraid of the flank now, recognizing that they're pushing him from behind. You got to be afraid of where's Forsaken coming from, because surely it's going to be a pinch and a wide swing. Something's been loving those here at VCT Pacific as they continue the lead in the second half.
So far so good. I think they're going to win this map.
Many try.
Monyet wasn't that bad. Yeah.
PaperX, few succeed. And I
I'm
like
not saying that he's bad,
see
bro.
if you can get a confidence win here, see if you can get a boost.
Just
But it just isn't ever really able to be
they
done with
don't
that boom bot, not quite
play
cleared. causes some serious problems as well. So again, the slight delay with some of these util timings from PaperX.
Not consistent.
Playing off of contact with their utility. This is something they do so well, time and time again, that a lot of teams don't really understand or anticipate until they
But
play
he's playing on Madrid was better than the kickoff.
Jing is full on confidence. He does,
As a duelist,
he
right?
does not care at all
As a
what you're
duelist.
doing. He is going to take the fight to you when he feels like it's time.
Yeah, I mean, Jing is quite frankly overheat incarnate, but PaperX work really well with it as an active drone, and it also gets a lot of kills at the same time, so it's a bit unfair sometimes. But we'll see Gen.G. It's not going to be this round as they are just sitting on a singular Sheriff, but can they stabilize in the upcoming rounds because they don't have too many left. PaperX are only 4 rounds away. We've been seeing the Outlaw a lot from Jing. He misses the first, he misses the second.
I'm looking for the second map though, because PRX choosing Icebox,
You did not account for this one. The HLs will knock Jing
which
out.
I'm
Jing
curious
wanted
about
to
their
greet for another
agent
off with the
pick.
reload, but now back up a ride from Divide. Gen.G, all their eyes set on
Because in
something, trying to draw
my
aggro.
opinion,
It's
the
going to be
Icebox,
Meteor who's
the
just checking. There's
duelist
the
suitable
jumping,
for
but it's
Icebox
going to be
is
Divide who swings
Jet,
out
bro,
first.
dangerous.
Now just trying to spray down the close members. The classic comes into play as well. And Divide doesn't need the PaperX buff. He'll just get the kills himself alongside Mind Freak.
But I guess they're gonna
Yeah,
play with two
there's
duelists as
nobody else in
always.
the world that does these
But
setups.
Dress is, I don't think it's
bizarre
suitable.
Stuff, putting the Outlaw up on top of the rock there, and then
To
you've got
all you
something
think-
just holding the angle out in the open, and Jing sticks around just a little
I
bit
think they're gonna
longer,
lose
and that's
Icebox map.
intentional. That's to buy some extra time there. To force kind of the hand of Gen.G, where they say, okay, maybe we can isolate Jing, maybe he overstayed his welcome. Like you were just
Yeah,
saying,
too
sometimes
good.
he overheats, sometimes he kind of goes for those extra big plays when he doesn't need to, but it's all just bait for something. Even though he whiffs the shots, there's an extra layer there for PaperX.
I mean, of course, also the fact that they're double duelists, right? Both of them having that mobility to continue to extend that
I
fight
think I
until
predicting
Divide or Mind Freak, other
13
members of
F
PaperX
Icebox.
arrive.
What?
And Gen.G, if they can't get
5?
the kill right away, if it's not a headshot one tap, you gotta question whether you want to
Isn't
continue the
it
fight
too low,
or
bro?
not.
Like,
As PaperX, they love to drag it out in that mud fight.
but in my opinion, they're gonna lose the Icebox map.
Gen.G, they've taken over that space, but at the cost of quite some big util, like the Paranoia already being spent by Charon. Now planting the Lurk into B as well. Classic Gen.G coming out, classic
Because
default
as
with
far
this
as I know,
composition.
Jing was
Spread out
race
the
player,
Lurks
right?
across the map, see if you get a reaction. Now at 50 seconds, they still haven't cleared the Cypher setup though on C. That's going to be their next obstacle.
Yeah, it's going to be the kind of go signal for
And
PaperX to start
I think the
pushing rest
best
of the map.
initiator
I like what
on the
PaperX did
map
here.
is
Really tried to hide.
Uh-oh,
their setup.
stunned.
Oh, they got him.
Trying to creep forward, but it's
with
just
the
not enough,
Gecko.
and something clears that. And
So,
Gen.G, they
something
wanted to
gonna play
rotate
Gecko?
back. They wanted to plant something in C, but now they'll have to just start to walk in and clear all these traps. They have no idea where Forsaken might be. They're creeping forward. They thankfully will clear out the Cypher, and now taking over
Then
the
playing
site. It's
Rest
gonna
on
be a
Icebox
quick
a
surround
little bit
by
harder.
PaperX. Revolving door and something
playing
now from
Jet.
Defender Spawn as well. Trying to clear the angles. He draws the sight of one, and that's going
Yeah,
to be
he's
the cue
the
for the
best.
rest of the team to start pinching it forward. Divide trying to draw aggro, but he goes down. Now a 2v2. Gen.G, can they win the duels? It's going to be Munchkin who wins one. Now a 2v1. Mind Freak, he gets one. Can he get the second? The spray down, not
Tapi dikit lagi,
quite
Cuk.
landing. And Munchkin finally gets one more on the board for Gen.G.
Gua kira bakal kena palanya.
Almost.
He almost
No
had
wall
it. I think he got
bang
to dig through the wall there. Absolutely bonkers stuff today from Mind Freak. I mean, he is playing some of the best Valorant we have seen. This Omen stuff, this is a huge win right there. If Forsaken gets one before he's traded, now, if you want to fault PaperX at all there and say that Forsaken gets a little bit ahead of things, but Forsaken just trying to see if he can catch him off guard a little bit, but fortunately for Gen.G, they know, they're wise to the trickery of PaperX. They know that you never know when one player is going to be pushing ahead of the rest, trying to see if they can find that extra value, extra out ahead. Be grabbing that orb early again, but a 3-man stack here. Got Jing, Devi.
I feel the same, bro. Every time I watch PRX playing,
Available for Lockett. He's set up for it. Now, are they ready for the close hold, though?
I feel like,
may not matter as much. The DK
I feel
is
they
gonna be
took play
something they're
too.
looking forward to, trying to hold them, bottleneck them in tree, and so far PaperX succeeds just a bit. Divide trying to bounce back and forth. He gets
and sometimes I
it.
play better after
With a nice
watching
flick
them.
back around. He clears the entire site
I don't
on
know
his
why,
own,
but
alongside his trusty
sometimes
Boombot.
that's
And that
happen.
should be a quick round for Gen.G as they look forward to a 6th round win. Only 2 members left alive.
Sa dua,
PaperX,
Cuk.
Bulldog, and Vandal in hand.
Yeah, gonna have to be a save now. Although Forsaken has taken a position, he's gonna try to find cheeky exit frag potentially. Something
Yes,
on a bit of a look about. Just
Thanks
seeing
for
if
playing.
anybody's gonna come through there quick, see if he can get a freebie. Not gonna be given over there. Great execute from Gen G on the back of that Nightfall. I mean, I like what Divide did there, where he kind of sidestepped the Boombot and was gonna hold the angle, but Texture just so fast. Then the transfer over on a Mind Freak as well, absolutely nuts. He's ready for the third, and that's round over. So, I mean, we've seen it time and time again this year that Texture can pick up these big multi-kills for you and just completely turn things around, get Gen G back on track, potentially make this a competitive map.
And that's something that really carried Gen G forward and impressed a lot of people around the world, was that they could take turns having those moments. And very truthfully, we haven't seen too many yet here on the first map of this best of 3.
Do you love
But Texture
watching
will
Alex
put
Rage?
one into the highlight reel to make sure that Gen G's not out just yet.
That is
PaperX
like
not close to map
the
point,
most fun
only
watching
10
PRX
rounds.
playing.
They can't
Like-
sit on their laurels yet. And there we go.
Even when
the replays are
the
coming
team
back for
winning the round, bro,
Texture.
like
Trying to loosen himself
Alex
up.
sometimes
Yeah,
rage
he's getting
and
the
slam
feel
the
of it now for
the
sure.
desk.
And that'll help.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
And
yeah, where's
it's
that?
funny,
Oh,
man.
there's
That's the
tone.
funny
Here
thing
we go.
about
This
these
is how we
things.
start that song. He's back in tune.
I just love Texture, man. He's so funny on camera. He's just always singing,
I
reacting.
once
and-
saw like
He is. It's
they-
great to see. So
what
now
is
you
it?
gotta kind of
They
rethink
got
what you're
flawless,
doing here,
right?
because that extra space
But
you're giving
Alex
up at Rubble
slamming
hasn't really worked out.
is
It's
this.
intentional for sure from PaperX, holding
I
back,
don't know
trying
why.
to see if you can get.
I'm curious
get
why
these
he's on
contact reactions.
the desk, bro.
But the Nightfall in particular,
Because
really
the
challenging,
team
even
was
with
flawless
Paranoia and
winning.
all those flashes and stuff that PaperX throws out isn't enough to really stop the momentum of Gen G when they're doing that execute. So now you got to rethink. I think we're going to see some more Rubble control. I think that's something that obviously worked out in their eco round win when they had the extra advantage of having an Outlaw and a Vandal for PaperX, which is just the weaker buy for Gen G. So certainly you got to be thinking about that. You also got to be thinking about these alt orbs. One away from the showstopper.
Yep.
Blade Storm and the other thing not as important, but that's something you got to consider here as Gen G. That the mound hit. I think this will be showstopper given order to Jing.
Yeah, you get that quick and easy orb, and of course this allows you to set up Forsaken in a bit of a trap on A with the Cypher setups. Now really just trying to make sure that they cannot take over backside too easily, trying to look for the picks rather, upon the entry. Now PaperX will try to funnel them towards the A side. It's all going as planned, but whether they can arrive in time is the big question. Texture goes in. Does he send it? The showstopper. It's not checking drop just yet. He's not wise to it at all. His teammates are going to start to funnel in. One gets seen, it's a burst, but only one, as Forsaken wonders where the double peak will be. Gen G thanking their lucky stars on that one, as they haven't taken too much damage just yet. Texture holding close from heaven, but I'm not sure if this one by the Trailblazer. Not at all. He's hiding right behind the tungsten screen. He counts for one. That's one down. Tries to hide back into it. Jing goes way far. The showstopper not finding its target. Texture still alive. He stabilizes for another kill. The Mind Freak in the short. He won't find its targets just yet. The Nanoswarm keeping them at bay at Gen G. They've got the post plans. They've got the angles. The Nanoswarm will be cleared by Jing. He's quick on that. But they have to push. They have to get kills. It's a 2v3. The spike is ticking down. And they are just getting pressured as Meteor gets yet another kill. The paint shells, but Jing only 8 HP. Gets one kill. Can he at least drop all the weapons? No, it's going to be Lakia who will get the last kill. And Gen G follow up to 7.
Got a
I
time.
mean, this is, again, Texture with just positioning this time. Not just great entry, great gunplay, but just a positioning thing that isn't accounted for. That, you can see on the map if you were watching, Device sends a flash towards drop that doesn't get any contact. So then they throw the Trailblazer, but does not see Texture. They're trying to set up Jing to find that player that's a little too close that he can blast back into, get that free pick onto the Flood retake.
Oh, jangan sampai
One
comeback,
player
kan
that
nggak jelas.
probably you would have liked to have knocked out of that round.
It's
Left
looking like a
unaccounted
comeback.
for. Great stuff there from Gen G.
Texture
I think so,
finds
bro.
sight of at least one, maybe both members, as he's throwing the paint shells as well. He's trying to make sure that they don't have an exit. Now baby door broken open. So they have an idea of where the exits might have happened. Gen G now stabilizing as Meteor clears mound on the other side of the map.
If
They're
they lose
really
this, I
spreading
think they're gonna
their
lose 2-0.
control of this attacking round.
Like,
Forsaken, though, just waiting for contact off those tripwires. It looks like camera on the other side. Something sliding over, but there's been no pressure at A, so now you have to kind of start to assume that maybe C might be being thought about. Spike's still in spawn for Gen G, so they're they're trying to figure out exactly what Paper X's bigger change-up after that timeout was going to be, right? The previous round was a little bit of an eco, so you expect that this is the round that really, you know, maybe there's going to be a response. Maybe there's going to be a crunch out of Baby Door or something like that, but instead, it's all towards C.
Yeah, but I love that from Devi, right? They're aware that Gen G could rotate to either side, so on a timing, sends a Trailblazer that brings Jing over just in time before the execute happens. Is 3 going to be enough for Paper X? As we do see the spray coming in through the smoke. Nobody close to 7, clear the second trip, but it's going to be something that draws the aggro first. Forsaken good for a double. Jing still alive on the site. Something trying to bounce back out as Jing flies forward, but Texture, he's just going in through aim training as all these targets fly at him. 1v2, can he get the clutch? He's already been spotted. He's going to plant with the help of the paint shells. Finds one, doesn't have time though, he has to stick the plant. Will he have it? He stops it.
Davai.
Nose, and he goes for the peak. Texture with the ace. And once again, he drags Gen G out from the depths of hell in this map 1.
What are you supposed to do against that?
This is
That's
bugging.
unfair. He's just insane. Paper X does so many of the right things here. Forsaken, something, Jing, all there to try to cover for this. And yeah, he gets Forsaken. You know, Jing does a blast pack, try to buy a little bit of bait. He gets up on top of the box.
Why man didn't wallbang him?
He plays this timing perfectly. Devi, you know, you kind of have to think that Devi might be trying to push you with the timing after that. Of course, he's fired up.
I mean,
Kenapa nggak di wallbang ya?
his face there too. His teammates can't believe it either. I mean, yes, he's your star player, but this is not normally Texture.
I mean,
and then he just chuckles it off.
they can wallbang, right?
Just another day for the Korean duelist on Gen G.
Mind-blowing. I mean, the way he plays that time at the end of it too, just absolutely brilliant. You can see Devi a little bit befuddled. Not maybe expecting that last repeat. Maybe not quite reading the time situation as well as he could. Maybe rethinking that one, but you know, you want to try to push him, but there just isn't enough space there. When he starts planting right before that 4 second, right? It takes 4 seconds to plant the spike. And you gotta kind of wonder, all right, what's he gonna do? All right,
I thought they're gonna win the round.
I think is what Mindfreak is thinking. I'm gonna let him get the plant, and I'm gonna reposition behind that pillar and try to go somewhere else, somewhere unexpected. Texture just
kill the 4 of them, bro.
Now he's up to a positive KD after that ace.
Yeah, it's been a rough going so far on Lotus, but he's back on top, and now Meteor finds a pick on C as well. That will slow things down for Gen G. They know they have options. With the Cypher down, they can go anywhere. The immediate call comes out. They've been spotted, and something follows through. You have to watch out for this. Paper X, when they see an opening, they will not let go. They will drag you back. But Meteor says, welcome right into my arms. 2 down with the Outlaw. Tries to peek around the boom bot, not going to find an opening. Now he's just trying to play for time as the rest of his team is creeping into the site. Guiding Light comes out. Gen G has to make a decision. The call comes out to try to reinforce, but Meteor may not need any assistance as he gets another. Still only half armors on the remaining members of Paper X as well.
Yeah, this is not the fight you want to be taking with just stingers in hand for Paper X. So now they're going to back off and try something a little bit different, but Gen G hot on their heels, opting to try to take a little bit more contact. Love these Outlaws coming out from Meteor against the ecos of Paper X.
It's not come back.
Bit of extra cash.
Because if Gen Z come back this,
really nicely with it as well. So
I think PRX gonna lose, bro.
Adjustment for Gen G.
I'm not optimistic on the Icebox.
So good. They know that the Cypher was gone from C site, but instead of waiting to see if the rotates have already happened, you don't know if Paper X is split or not. They decided to just deathball it into the site, playing with the advantage of numbers. 3 inside tree, Meteor holding from afar next to Rubble. Mindfree will try to cause a bit of a ruckus with the Shrouded Step. They definitely heard it through the wall, but are they aware of where he might have landed? He won't get a reaction. Gen G, they are just patient. They know they are so close to trying to tie this up on Lotus, their map pick. This best of 3 in stage 1. Tapping the spike, Mindfree recognizes the members, but Meteor's there for the flank. That's a 4K now. Outlaw picked up for Jing.
I don't watch another region.
But it's only got 1 shot left in it. He can't go for the double.
So I barely know. I only know Loud and Pinels.
I didn't really ever think about with the Outlaw.
Yeah.
It's a rough
Maybe
one
it's
for
between
sure.
the 2 of them.
Gamble a bit there, right? It just did. I don't think it quite clicked with him. Or unless he's looking for the headshot, but
sure.
Yeah. I mean, still Meteor though, so good with it. 4 kills
Kalau
in the
dipaksa
round
dapat
for him.
sih.
Getting tons of value out of that Marshall. And that gives you a little extra bank to utilize as well. Now you've got a lot of ults for both sides. Both sides of showstoppers. You have the Neural Theft and the Seekers. The Viper spit in the lockdown. So a lot of counter utility play. Gen.G this time going to be taking mountain control with a TP in the back.
Paranoia out, but he's not going to land the shot. Divine will stop it, and that should stop the advance from PRX entirely. As Jing will slow things down just enough for something. He's thinking about peeking out of this revolving door. Off of the guiding light as well. The team comms are right back in form for PRX. As they will get another round. And I do just want to let
American, right?
know on the desk that PRX finally got a round back once they bought the Odin. So, you know, I don't know. Causation, correlation, not quite sure where it lands, but it's there.
Americans.
It is a very powerful gun in Forsaken's hand.
Wasn't exactly used at all of that round.
Didn't matter, but it was there. That's all. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jing there gets so much air.
Yes.
And then the fact that he's able to, again, nobody recovers faster from landing after blast packs than Jing.
It's
just unreal.
It's surely between the two of them. A lot of Sentinel because
it's tricky to do. Now we're going to see that Odin come into play as the doors being pushed by Gen.G.
the team I watch on Americas is both of them.
Not able to find any, you know, he found a little bit of damage on Hector, maybe. Okay, Meteor.
All right, Meteor. He's definitely had to play Jing a couple times.
I watch Sentinel because in Indonesia there's so many of fans of them.
Well. Now you wonder, is it even worth pushing for this Odin? They're going to try to draw that aggro over to the B side. This is all set up for Texture.
Even though I think it's more likely
it's just going to be the Neural Theft, and Texture knows there's no way out. You have to push the B side. Post-plant, they'll have to worry about that afterwards. So he will look to push everyone out. The pit used for one side. Texture takes over Heaven. The rest all choosing to stay inside the pit. So Texture's going to have to buy a lot of time before the retake happens.
I barely know the other region team.
There's no money left for Forsaken. Got enough to buy, but he's gonna have to fork over that Odin. Jeez, he knows these angles so well.
Yeah, I mean, barely just scrapes the cap off of Raze's head. But overall, Gen.G, they get the read that with the Odin spam and no approach, that this might be a save. They read the credit situation here for the potential Odin. Want to do some damage. Of course, not entirely necessary. Lakio, of course, has his Nightfall as well. Other members sitting with enough to buy into the next round. So Gen.G will let the round pass. 10-11 score line. We'll have to take a look how this impacts the next round as Odin saved over by Forsaken.
I want to ask you, Will. Did you feel like PRX was going to try that retake anyway? Like, did
Is
you
it
have it in the
comeback?
back of your mind?
You know, yeah, somewhere in my mind. Until I really saw Mindfreak really sit at the other
Yeah,
end
yeah,
of the
yeah.
map, I'm like, well, they might.
Yeah, it's in your mind, right? I mean,
Because they've done things where it's just Forsaken spamming and everyone sprints across, masking their
Lord,
audio.
jadi
Like, they've done
belas,
some crazy things with weapons they shouldn't have. So
Exactly.
you can never count them out, and I think that's why Gen.G was a little cautious. But now, round 22, this is going to be the big one. Gen.G continuing with their default opening to take over Rubble, and PRX, they want to punish it this time. It's going to be a fast push out. Meteor, he's good for one. He makes the dash go away from the other, and now the backup has a ride for Gen.G as well. They've cut off the forces pushing out of B main, and Meteor, if he can get that kill, if he had gotten it, the map opens up for Gen.G, but something will back off.
That was close for something. He's going to have just enough time to get out, but he still has no help. Everybody's leaning towards A. The raid a little bit off kilter. Finally, with that Prowler coming through, now they're starting to shift back over, and it's immediate change in direction from Gen.G. They're working the map so nicely.
Yes, still a full minute as well. Now, the big benefit is, of course, Cypher set up on A, and Mindfreak understands he can't give up too much space on B main. They need to get that information nice and early. And so, PRX, they will hold 2-1-1 spread out across the map. Trailblazers, they'll clear mound on that timing. It's going to be the Odin pressuring, seeing if there's a reaction to smoke to help hit the tripwire. The Boombot will take the hit for that one, but the Nightfall, it's going to force Forsaken out. Does he stick around? He tags one with the cam, makes sure that they don't approach, and that buys him just enough time to try to get away. Still no audio, and he has no idea that the rope's been taken. Busy with the reload on the Odin. Mindfreak takes over drop. Spike already planted though, and Gen.G set up for the post-man. Texture with a bit of a curveball, the wild card. Something might have seen him because he catches the barrel, chases him down, and immediately swivels for a second headshot. And now it's just going to be Meteor and Munchkin 2v2, but the health not on their side.
The hell? That's
time. The second one has to be launched right away.
That's good
it's a
lineup,
lot of time bought. They couldn't clear it in time. half not
That's
done.
delay so much time.
Switching up that position, trying to push it. They actually just get it with the spray, and if Munchkin can't get it, it's going to be Meteor, who's just buying time. Still enough for
kambing.
Mindfreak. He tries to turn away, but Munchkin finds a sliver of an angle. They are tied up 11-11 after what seemed an insurmountable 10-4
It's
lead
a
for
tied-
PaperX.
Yeah, I mean, PaperX trying to get
Win.
aggressive early, trying to see if they can win some of those duels, but it's actually Meteor. The sidestep, something with an impressive double. But still, Genji able to get into those post-plant positions, hold those angles just long enough. Trying to play a little bit of game of tap the spike and dance around his PaperX, and it doesn't really fool Genji too much at
PRX
all, but
knows
it's all
their
that early
strengths.
game. Kind of anticipation of the pressure, dealing with it, then working the map nicely. Here we go, fast hit, now out the open,
And just right through the screen for Texture to pick up a triple. PaperX, they tried to adjust, and Mindfreak's holding on for dear life. If he gets a third, it's a totally different story.
Jason
Now a
ayam.
1v2 for Forsaken.
Itu, Ren, tadi gue kira
Can he
Jason.
do it when PaperX needs it most?
Ya ampun itu meteor dari
Set
sono,
up all
cok.
the way on C site.
Udah
But
di
the
ujung dunia.
lurk from Meteor, it's faster than Forsaken might expect. He has no
Ah,
idea, and it's going to be the kill. 12-11, map point for Genji as the crowd goes wild in Seoul.
I mean, again, PaperX tries to challenge a little bit sooner
I
than
think
they
you're gonna
have
lose
been
that
on this
100
Rebel
bills,
take.
bro.
The Texture is so ready for it. He gets enough comfort with that initial hit, and no real bothering by the utility there. He gets ahead of the Sky Flash. The reveal from Laki is so good. And then Mindfreak gets even deeper than Genji's ready for, so he picks up 3 huge kills, but still the round win comes
You need
from
to double
Genji,
your
so it's
bet
either
on the
gonna be
next map.
Matt Genji
Because
or
you think they're
overtime
gonna
force
win
by
the
PaperX. This
second
attacker
map,
side
right?
For both teams have been really good, but so far Genji's maybe just slightly better, especially with this showstopper coming into Texture's hands.
Yeah, and they know PaperX, they failed the fight on Rebel the previous round, so Genji just calling them out on it, trying to pressure it once again. Takes the orb as well, sees if there's a reaction. It's a classic setup, and PaperX, they
This
might
is what I
have to
think
go
about, like,
for a bit
when
of
when
Hail
Monyet
Mary here.
playing
Just
or
make sure that you stick to your
and
guns and
Jing
say
playing.
that Genji, they will
Because
try to
Monyet
push and pull
was
us,
a
but they are
Plex
set up
agent.
on Rebel. That's
So
a correct
PRX
call
has
for PaperX.
better,
Now you're worried about some
like,
kind of counter
better
trap
defensive,
developed
defensive.
by PaperX in between rounds on this A
But
side.
Jing is,
I think something's looking
like,
potentially to get not just a pick,
race
but maybe
only.
get an orb as well. Get that Blade Storm going.
Nice clear on the side of Mound, though. So now PaperX, they know for certain as his door is open.
So the thing
It's going
when
to be
Jing
an A hit.
playing,
Forsaken, does he look for a timing? He creeps in. He hears the Cypher
They-
Cage, but that's just bait from Munchkin.
they got less
The
patience on
absolute
defense,
200 IQ play.
That's what
Baits out the
make
Cypher
them
Cage,
lose.
trades for something. But they've already lost quite a few. Divide trying to clear the site. Spike still not planted. The Showstopper will have to be used by Texture
30
to make sure
seconds
they have
left.
enough time. 3v2 for Genji. Munchkin holding from afar by Rubble. Tries to cover their bases. The Showstopper
Allah.
sent to cover drop.
di semua pula,
Now
cok.
spike planted. Mind Freak, does he use the Cox screen against them? The smoke to see if there's a peek, but not quite just yet. Drop going to be filled up by Jing. It's going to be a pinch from PaperX. Mind Freak's creeping up, but the barrel shows as Lakia turns
Alah,
his
udah,
head.
cok.
Texture gets the kill onto Jing, and
Wait.
Mind Freak knows he has to get it,
Mhm.
but not in time.
Ah.
And the IGL of
Ini udah nongol duluan
Genji
kami.
will close out an insane 13-11 map.
Ente
on
dah, ente.
Lotus.
It's
Nasra.
unbelievable. And the comeback here from Genji,
Comeback, cok.
it's that determination they've had all year, that
The
never give
heck?
up attitude. So many of their games have gone to 3 maps. They've gone the distance. They have played an insane amount of games already here in 2024. You can see that they are not breaking. They are holding fast. They are holding firm. Attacker side for both teams really good. Something I want to mention, it's been the defender side actually on this map that's been really kind of their bread and butter this year so far, but both teams having
No
some great
shit, bro.
adaptations.
Absolutely. PaperX, they came
They
out
come
swinging
back.
with a lot of new ideas, with a lot of good reads, but they ran out of steam near the end, and we'll have the analyst desk coming on to the show to break down the action a little bit further.
From 8-4.
And just when you thought maybe Genji was going to lose their map,
Oh, did
they
they lose?
said, nope, this
Then
is our
for
map,
lead.
Pink Lotus, and they bring it back. But it didn't look like it was going to be that way.
It looked really
Kambing
dominant in
segitu,
the
Cok.
first half. I think like all of Wars fought with deception, and Forsaken was a shadow. Like the way he was lurking around, Genji, sometimes they just wouldn't expect him. And when they do expect him, he's on another part of the map, and it's just so confusing for them.
It was an incredible run back. It felt like the the insanity of that texture ace, which was effectively a 1v5, is what really cemented it. I will say, though, for William, who is making a bit of a note towards me on the cast, and I'm saying this because he's walking past the moment.
By the way, where are you from? I'm from Indonesia, bro.
But I seem to recall that Genji didn't use the Odin too much, and they happened to win this map. So maybe the Odin just causes you to lose. I don't know what it is. But this was a hell of a banger opener. And if this is what we can expect from Icebox
so let's
as well, with the
see,
confidence
like,
of PRX to pick that map coming in, oh boy, it's going to be one hell of a series.
Yeah, well, these teams definitely did not let us down. 12 first kills on both sides, and I think you're right, Achilleos.
Let's
the moment
check some of
Texture
them
got that insane
playing on
kill,
Icebox.
everything started to turn around. That's when you start to see Genji's confidence. Coach Alex was saying that just now. Once
I think Genji
gets
is not that bad on Icebox,
that's
bro.
actually the most unstoppable thing
So
about
it's
them.
gonna be
Ridiculously, yeah. I mean, it's that confidence for sure. I
hard
mean,
for
at the
PRX.
start, you know, they were starting to struggle a little bit. PaperX started to push out against them. PaperX won the pistol at the start of the second half, but slowly Genji started to, you know,
But
switch
they
up the
ever
pace a little
play
bit. They
on
got
Icebox?
information with Lakia. Texture started to go in for, you know, those triple
They
kill
win
rounds. There was
from
that
Loud.
one specific round where he got a triple kill onto Ace site off of Lakia's information and support, and then the entirety of
is this
PaperX
from
couldn't retake anymore.
ADG?
After that, Genji started to pick up momentum,
good.
and that's where the confidence starts to build up.
Yeah, I mean, the turnaround from Texture began after, you know, in kills to where he ended up is absolutely insane.
flow state.
It was just,
He was,
it was just a crazy turnaround from him. But Meteor, consistent
They
the
got
whole way
destroyed
through. I felt
by-
like Meteor and Lakia were really
Yeah,
the ones like holding on by a thread. We weren't seeing that impact from.
I know
Caroline, from
they
Lakia and
lose
Texture at all that we're really used to
on the
seeing,
master
in that first half.
on
But,
Icebox.
I
They
think
lose
that,
bad, bro.
yeah, that rallying cry
But I
from
think
the Texture Ace
PRX
really
not good,
just got everybody
not
on the
that
same
good
page.
on
But
Icebox
I
too.
gotta say, solid efforts to Mind Freak, because
Oh,
good
yeah.
God, from the, I mean, the whole map across, he was absolutely on point.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
consistently getting kills and just kind of anchoring down a lot of spots. Sometimes even in those clutch situations, like that one that we just saw, he's able to pick
the
up
last
a
time I
couple
saw
of multi-kills
PRX
still in
This
there
one too.
playing
just
Icebox.
to bring his team back from the brink, and that really
They
gives out
playing
the
really
even
bad.
odds that PaperX needs to sneak away with these rounds sometimes. The only thing is just that, you know, although everyone from PaperX was chipping in, we didn't quite see that same kind of like
Icebox.
in flow state highlight performance from, you know, someone that we expect, like perhaps Jing, for example. There were great entries, there were great performances, great team plays, but nothing quite as like magical or as highlight worthy as
You
what
got a
Texture
favorite
did.
enemy.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think that that's just something that's going to take a little bit more time.
My
for
all-time
PaperX to
anime
get
is
back
Naruto,
into that
man.
flow state, get back to having just the hive mind
Because
gameplay
I
that
grew
we
up
were seeing from them
watching
so
Naruto.
consistently throughout last year, and I think that that's perfectly fine. All ready for them to come in, and then you know, Alex, he was saying that, you know, okay, it's 9
For
days
now, I'm
for
still
both teams to
watching
widely get
One
prepped. He thinks that
Piece.
it's mostly even. I do kind of disagree,
And
just given that Genji didn't undergo any changes. It was just them going to the event, playing with
like
this 5-man core, and then coming
pre-ren,
back and
but
practicing
it's
straight up with
already
this one. So I still would give them the edge in preparation for that. So for PaperX to
and
still make that as close of an
what
opening map
new anime?
as it was, I think is a
That's the
clear
thing, the
indication
anime
that
watch
PaperX is back. They are
like
going to be one of the teams contending to be top dog here in Pacific
3
once
or
again.
2 weeks
But is it
ago
going to be
was
enough
free
for them
ren
to win this
and
series, though? I think
what
that's
is
the
it,
biggest
solo
question
leveling?
on all our minds. I'm still like a little bit bummed out from this first map loss.
Well, if anything,
Maybe
I think Genji
two of
gave
them.
PaperX a taste of
Solo
their own
leveling still
medicine,
ongoing,
you
right?
know, coming back
That's
with a hero play like that and this turning
the
things
anime I'm
around
watching
when everything
currently.
falls into sync, becoming their own version of their hive mind. And I know Mind Freak
Icebox,
definitely has a girlfriend
Icebox,
bug right
love
now.
it.
She's here in the audience. There, you can
go.
see her with Auntie Jing's mom. Now, Icebox. We have not seen PaperX play this in a long, long time. And Genji, the last time they
Go.
notably played Icebox, it was against Sentinels. It was the map they dropped to Sentinels when they were so close to getting that Masters trophy.
Genji has played this an immense amount, and I'm actually... I was a little bit surprised to see that they were leaning into it as a pick as heavily as they had been, because it hasn't been the cleanest map form. It's similar to like Zeta with Ascent in the past, where like you go to this map, you get wins on it, but it's always a struggle. It's always so damn close
It's
when you're
been
able to
so long,
get those
Pip.
wins. But with
PRX
PaperX,
playing on
clearly
Icebox
they
now.
have a lot of tape that they have studied, that they will have studied coming into this one.
Is it
So for
Copenhagen?
them to not show it for the longest time and feel comfortable enough to pick it
Off
into Gen G,
season,
they have
let's-
to have a very solid idea about how to counter-strat this team.
It is a bit worrisome, though. I mean, still, you know, everything that we know about PaperX, they prefer some of these like wider open
Wait,
spaces.
what?
They prefer to be able to work around the map.
When's
Icebox
the
is
last
like
time
a
they
little
played
bit
on
execute heavy.
Icebox?
You might be able to work around mid a little bit, but other than that, mid has been opened up so much more because of that tiny little window around tube. And yeah, PaperX, we don't really know what kind of composition they're gonna run.
I think this is the last time they play Icebox, and they're losing from Team Secret, bro. Like Team
How's it gonna
Secret.
be this time? I mean, so far, you know, 9 days of prep. Is Jing just gonna stick to Raze? I guess.
You could. I
This
mean, there's
is
still
like
solid
Ascension
entry
player,
paths on Icebox. I think that, and
They
there's probably
losing.
even more. I can't really think of any Raze performances that we've
My
seen
favorite is solo
widely on
leveling.
Icebox since the changes came in. So there's probably a lot more that you could
Yeah,
do.
I
There's
love
probably some
the
crazy lines you
animation
can do from mid
on
and just
that anime.
completely land in window. You know, you come straight up and then hook your way left into the window.
But I
Just
think
annihilate
like
anybody that's
nowadays
there in kitchen
anime,
or two. But I'd be curious to see what they are going to be putting
the
together. If I
animation
had
of
to guess, I
this
think it is
nowadays
probably just
anime
gonna
is
go back to
better,
things that they had
a lot
done
better
before, but
than
we'll have to just wait and see, I suppose.
like
I think you're
2
right,
or
though.
5
We
years
I would be surprised if we
ago.
didn't see something a little bit
By
crazy,
the
a
way,
little
Blitz, yeah, is on some
hair-brain
red
idea like we saw in Sunset with that
Yeah,
Sage Wall
yeah.
and Monyet going
Sure.
up on the Omen. You know, little
Uh,
fun things that you see the rest of the Valorant ranked community
It's-
start using afterwards. I'm sure we're going to see some of that in Icebox.
You probably could find
It's
decent value running
so
something
many,
like Sunset Comp
like on
Icebox.
my
I
Twitter
think that
timeline,
you could just implement that.
talk
go
about
for
it,
Duelist,
like-
just add you know, some more control and initiators into the mix there. Have something play the Gecko
Oh.
instead of playing the Jet. And I think
like
you
his
could actually
recent mate
find
was
relative
always
success with
losing,
an
bro.
Icebox.
I feel like they still probably, I want to keep that Jet in, especially with something playing. But you know, that's the thing. You got this idea.
I don't
of
even know
Gecko
why
now, but
Blitz
still.
buy him though.
So, before we talk about that,
Because
we're going to talk about agents. Like, there's more to talk about
From I'm
agents.
watching
But
him
we gotta
playing
do
on
our
the tournament,
game where we
I don't
will
think he's
adjust
suitable
our
for
ranks. You saw this at the beginning.
Pacific. Bro.
I'm currently at Diamond. These guys are gold. This is not our in-game rank,
Oh,
but
it's a
our
bit weird
Pacific
that
rank
Blitz
based
by
on
him.
this question. I feel like we need to clarify that because these guys are definitely not gold.
Ooh.
They're better. They're much better.
Which player will record a higher kill count?
Yeah. So Texture or Jing will get the higher kill count on this. I think this is a. Do you want to talk to the process or do you want to share your vote first?
Yeah, I'll just go for it.
Let's just go for it.
Okay. I got mine.
I got mine too.
You guys ready?
Are you ready? Wait, he's
Let's
showing-
go.
showing
Let's show it. Let's show it. Show it. Show it. All right, you guys are all
Okay.
picking.
Have you placed your
Texture.
bet? Your bet, bro?
Can you not?
I'm amazed.
should double
I
your
thought
bet,
for sure
man.
both of you were
With
gonna
your
say
favorite race?
Jing.
Come on.
No, look,
I hope
we,
PRX win
we
this.
like Genji and we like Texture too. But
Did you put the bet too, bro?
why do
On
you
the second
actually,
map?
Quack? You should explain it.
I just said, how can you not? After watching that ace, how smart, how
If not, I'm
like,
out.
calm he was, how zoned in he was, that has to say everything.
But what if he's playing a Sentinel? Then we're screwed.
Well, no, because he was dropping
The
big
last-
value kills on
You see, I'm
on
I'm
G last
checking.
year, so even if
I
Texture
check
goes to play
like
Sentinel,
the
I
last
don't
map
know.
they playing on
Omen.
Icebox, right?
But
They losing from
oh,
Team Secret, bro, and
Jing is on
My God.
stage.
the players from
Okay,
Team
so
Secret
we're not
was
seeing a double duel.
a
Okay,
second tier
so
player,
this
bro.
is kind of what I expected from PaperX. This is not what I was
So in my
expecting
opinion,
from
they're
Gen
gonna
G.
lose this too.
So they're doing,
We're not diving in anymore.
yeah, they're doing what I said PaperX could do.
Ah, battle stage.
Well, that's a bit of a curveball, perhaps from the coach.
Yeah.
Being using
Both
battle
sides
stage
are
now.
trying to cook for each other.
I'm not gonna lie though, this
See, I don't think Jing gonna use
messed with
Raze
this a
now
little
because
bit, because we have seen
Raze not
a lot
suitable
of
for this map.
players just be able to shift over to playing Omen and looking absolutely deadly
Wait,
on
one
it.
inch
I mean,
yet?
Jens is the biggest example
yeah.
of that. You get somebody that is very smart about their movement, about the decision making moment to moment, put them on Omen, they can absolutely thrive.
And Genji starts out on defense.
All right, we're going to go to Icebox. First time we're seeing from PaperX in a long damn
Are they
time. Let's go
gonna,
to
like,
our casters, William
slow
and
attacking?
Paperthin.
Well, everyone wondered what Texture was doing last year,
I
but
play
now
Jess,
the
I'm
question's
losing.
back as he's no longer on the duel list. Picking up the Omen, and the desk has talked about, the shift. Yes, we've seen it. Obviously, Omen oftentimes used as a sub-dive agent as well. But a very new look from Genji, where they've always had some
But
sort
for
of
me,
hard
I
dive
think
as part of their
Raze is
compositions.
like
This is
the best duelist
Truly
for
shocking
solo
in a
player
way.
because
I mean, Texture is so
the
good at Jet,
utilities she had,
typically very reliable with an operator. Probably still going to see him pick it up anyway, but
Boombot, the
you can always
pencils,
shift it over to Meteor as well. But on this defender side,
it's the
really
utilities
taking a
you
ton
need
of space,
to
leaving the
like
A-side
solo
open.
push.
Just a little bit of the KJ utility cleared by PaperX. They're going to have a free plant
So
out. Let's see
you
if
just
they
need
can
to
hold
learn
out for this this
to do the
retake,
satchel.
include the nano as well. So everything open here
I know
for
it's like
Paper
for
X.
some people
That
it's
wall,
really hard.
make sure that this plant goes safe, but Genji
The
trying to
last
figure
time
out
they play
exactly
Icebox,
where they're
I
going to
think
come
it
from.
from
Looks like mostly from their
PRX.
side.
Yeah, they're all just going to cycle back through screens. Now, something about the stage will obviously
Is
very good
it in the
but in general as
final
well. It
master?
should be very good against the double flashes of the Gecko KO, as you still won't be able to fire through all the angles. Something just going to get a blind kill through the
And
smoke.
they lose
That'll
the
dwindle
tournament,
down
right?
numbers, and a lurk already in action by
VCT.
Defy. We'll keep our eye on that on the middle of the map. As he's
Then
already
it's
cycled
bad,
all the way through, but the wingman's still going. That snakebite ain't taking away little bro anytime soon. And we've seen this too many times for it to happen again, as Genji will get the defuse.
Yeah, I mean, just Paper X there, able to get what they wanted, get into their post-plant positions, get the lurk, but Munchkin just too
Speaking
good
about
on point.
FPX, like
He's so confident on this map in the KO. He's just going to take that space, trying to get into your
they
lines,
win
make
international
very difficult for you
tournament,
to get those
then
post plants that you want to get set up.
the next
It's gonna be
season
Texture with the Outlaw, in fact. Kind of curious exactly who's going to grab maybe some of that
they lost.
long-range
I
sniper
mean,
weaponry.
what is it? They missing.
Yeah, it's going to have some good value too, though.
They're
as
doing.
this force
They're
spike
going
comes
bad
out.
after the
When they
tournament.
have armors from Paper X, surely they suspect an
Even in
outlaw when it's
region,
Genji
like,
with Texture and Meteor.
They
We'll
hardly
see what ideas they have. It's going to be a
get
high
in the
pop
finals.
flash from the KO. Texture just throwing out the paranoia to buy more time. Allows him to reposition a little bit. Something with the hard dive
Mati
in.
dong.
With
Ya
the dash,
ampun.
but Munchkin already there from behind the side, and Texture gets another with the Outlaw. Mind Freak's already close with the Stinger, and he's going to be able to kill Texture. Not able to stabilize in the smoke.
Spike planted.
And the spike will be planted. It's surrounded by the
Allah.
wall. Lakia finds the scope of one. Mind Freak going down. And Jing all alone. Stinger in hand. Judge
Shotgun
and
itu orang.
Bulldog to work with for Genji. It's going to be the Dizzy that's used to clear away from Heaven. And now creeping in from Charon. The Judge actually gets the kill from about medium range from down below. And we will see Lakia pick up yet another point going towards his Thrash.
I mean, it's an interesting idea from Paper X. You send Devi, who's, I think, just had a ghost or something. It wasn't one of the other upgraded SMGs that the rest of Paper X
I'm
opted
scared for them
He
and
just
for my
loses out.
money.
Caroline would have been expecting some early aggression, able to use that against them. The rest of the guns not really revealed until they get on the site, but it's not managed very well by Paper X. Jing doing a good job avoiding the Dizzy, trying to set himself up, gets the dink and tries to re-aggress onto it. Fortunately for him, it's a Judge that he's going to be facing in that situation. So now it's Stingers and a Vandal and half buy. So this Outlaw could get a ton more value as well for Texture on this A site.
I mean,
The win the
Judge, it's all going as planned for
No kids
Genji. They'll
feeding
even
us.
take the ult door. Very nice, quick 1 point away from that null command. And now they will back up the utility, letting Genji know that this is an execute onto the site. Texture's holding close. He gets spotted by the dash, so he's gonna have to buy time as Munchkin will take out one of the paranoia for support,
Nice.
but it's going to be Paper X that just absolutely overwhelmed Genji. So he will go for another plant. This time, no Sage left alive, so no wall to block off the lines of sight. Meteor takes advantage of the long range, picks off the Viper, forces
Allah.
away something with the Nano Swarms, ready for the trade as well. Forsaken eventually wins out, but that gives time for Genji. The rest of the forces to push through. The Thrash will clear out all the areas, finds him, and he is detained. And forget any sort of disrespect. They will just be going for the defuse. Lakia barely lands in time to get the kill without taking any damage, but it's going to be the third round nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, Munchkin's so devastating with the Guardian. Saw it a lot in Madrid and in kickoff. Able to find some value early. Yeah, Paper X gets the plant down, but losing some pieces of the puzzle along the way. I think it's Devi that started with the rifle in this round. That's so dumb. Munchkin, you're so good with that gun. It's not even fair. There's good trades here for Paper X, but the weaker weaponry certainly hurts. And a good start. Yeah, let him know, Lakia. It's a good start for sure for Genji. The force buy, of course, making that third round that much easier. Lakia pinging the orb, but not going for it. Gets slowed up and just backing off here.
Yeah, doesn't want to take that risk with the slow orb and the utility coming out as well. Paranoia at the ready. This is a trap play set up by Genji. They're going to push forward. The Dizzy tags him as well. They're ready for belt push, but Texture not able to get the kill just yet. So down to 4 members, 4 rifles for Genji. A dash in, but something, he's been surrounded. Lakia tries to push him, but something's just waiting for that opportunity. And that allows the rest of PaperX to try to swarm the site. Munchkin and Meteor holding true in the back of sight, trying to isolate the 1v1s, but they can't get in. The node command will just go down at the back. Karon not able to res as Munchkin eventually gets taken out. A 3v1. Karon, the rookie star, quiet in the first round. Can he find an opening in the second? Gets pinged, uses that against him, isolates one. Ready for another, goes for the repeat, but can't find Forsaken. Already waiting
first point.
from the corner.
Well, tempo of this match certainly feels very aggressive for both teams. You wouldn't think so without a duelist on the side of Gen G, but they're happy to try to take space. They're trying to catch PaperX, you know, over-aggressing onto those orb touches. Munchkin's been aggressive on them earlier. This time, it's going to be Lakia who goes for it, wisely backs off. I don't know how something wins that battle, but then something peeks an angle. There's 2 players at Gen G there. He gets taken down. But on the other side, the trades are much better for PaperX when they swing around towards the box. Able to get some nice kills, able to lock it down, but it's been very chaotic so far. As obviously, we haven't seen Icebox from PaperX in quite some time. This push out Forsaken, good for 1, and out we go. Munchkin is nuts. How is he always so good with these guns? He's one taps.
Especially on Icebox as well, right? There's something about him. Turns that switch on, tries to stabilize a 4v4. Texture will recover that weapon now, and that could be the deal breaker, but no, Jing just shuts down right away. And Gen G, despite having a 3-1 lead, of course, the econ very low. Munchkin gets the kill from afar as we see extra damage coming in from Karon with the right click. Now just trying to retake some space, but with the rifle recovered, when does Gen G call for the save? Try to bank up some econ once again. He's ready for it, sees the leg, and he will swing right back, trying to clear both corners at the same time. That might be the opening they needed. Karon eventually goes down. Munchkin, does he get the call that someone's close? Might have caught a glimpse of him, and he's going to get 4 on for the ace, but he needs to defuse the spike as well. Not sure about the position, waiting for Devi, who's oftentimes lurking, but not going to find him just yet. Devi will tease him with the timer. Munchkin just wants to take away the weapons one last time, but Devi will secure the round. 2-3 for PaperX.
I mean, what a round for Munchkin, though. Yeah, you get the win as PaperX, but you don't get much else.
If they can get
There's a
Kai
lot of players. In fact,
on the
Devi
first
goes
half,
down
I
to the
think they're
spike
gonna
there at
win.
the end, so this is a great opener. But Munchkin's just so good. That's a nasty shot.
At least
Jing
they
there
need
using
to
that
get
wall
5
up
points.
top. And just barely, they're able to get through it. Jing, when they used to play
They
this
need
map
to
2 years
get
ago,
5 points
was playing on the
to
Sage a lot, so kind of going back
keep
into that
their
comfort pick
chance
here
to
for
win the map
PaperX.
higher.
No Devi on Chamber. I was kind of curious to see if we were going to get to see a repeat of it, but certainly in this current meta, you know, Killjoy able to claim so much space, especially on your defender side. Keep so much information under your control. Meteor to be the Killjoy on the B site. Be tasked with that.
Holding with that util. That allows Gen G to go for their defaults once again. Push out A, take the orb, and immediately they'll reset to mid this time for a fast rotate to either site. Texture holding A with the op. It's moving the Nano Swarms. And the null command comes through though, so it's not going to be allowing the Killjoy to hold on to the site any longer. Meteor actually backs out just to hold an angle, sees the gun barrel. The spike will get planted, but it's going to be Gen G, who already has so much space and a numbers advantage, 4v3. Now the alarm bot goes off. They know that they're still bouncing around the entry from green into the site. Yellow not cleared yet for Gen G. All of them grouped up. The paranoia goes all the way through. Should have hit something, but they can't find him right around the edge just yet. And Meteor, he's still running and gunning when he swings around. Something will barely get that kill with 28 HP. The snake bite clears it right at the end in the pit, but it's right up against the wall. The spike should be easy to spam through. Little bro tries to go for it, and Lakia swings out to assist the little bro, and it's going to be Wingman going for the defuse once again, 4-2.
I mean, so much damage done on the way in by PaperX. They don't have much for this post plant, so they're going to send Devi on alert. He actually does find a kill, but by the time he gets there, the pit's already in. What are you going to do against this? And it makes it so challenging for them. Okay, you get the 1-for-1 trade earlier. Meteor, great positioning, great footwork. And then Devi feels like he has to go for it. Had the lockdown, didn't really have time to commit it. Able to hold on is Gen G, finding their 4th round win. Now you've got a ton of ults available for PaperX. Going to set up for kind of a stabilization, seeing if they can maybe get that lockdown into play right around the corner. Texture watching for that belt player.
And the jump peaks trying to come in for Jing. Not sure if they quite spotted him clearly just yet. Might have gotten a ping on the mini-map.
Come on,
But at the end of the
PRX.
day, not able to take too much space. It's going to be the null command used as well, and Munchkin actually moves away.
How
They're
much you
just-
bet
they're
on the
trying to
second map?
just empty A site and see if they bite on the side of PaperX. Lakia
Allah.
hiding by the smoke. He catches the side of the blade storm, and Lakia wants none of that from something. Obviously one of his debut highlights here on Icebox itself. Munchkin ready with a flash drive and the dizzy. The double flash is being prepared. Can they clear out the lockdown? The lineup, is it going to land? And it should just be able to clear that lockdown out. But still, so much utility used by PaperX. Gen.G will respect it. Paranoia early to retake the site. Something should be wary of this. The wingman clears the corner, and Lakia swinging around already. Gets one kill off the top of Nest. And that's the forward position for PaperX cleared out. Forsaken now wrapping around. They want to protect the pin, and it's going to be an all-out brawl right outside the pin as we see Gen.G continuing to get the kills. Forsaken not able to pick up an upgrade to the weapon. Only Mind Freak left, spiked down outside of his comfort zone. And it will be defended by all three members of Gen.G. Hail Mary push out as the pit goes down, trying to recover it, trying to isolate the members. But Lakia is still around the corner, no time left. And it will be the round for Gen.G as Mind Freak will get a consolation kill onto Lakia.
It's everything in the kitchen sink thrown at this round by PaperX. And they still can't get over the line. They still can't get that win. Perfect placement on that frag bet by Munchkin on the lockdown. That's a tough one to get sometimes because it has to land so perfectly because there's only a small circle that the fragment can clear just by itself on that lockdown that's right next to where it lands. So really nicely done by him to get that, having just a phenomenal map. For Gen.G is Munchkin in so many different ways.
I think they are,
Setting him
bro.
up really nicely there. And certainly Alex
This is a troll pick.
trying to get them back on track, but with all those ultimates used there, Will, now you start to worry about PaperX because even in a round where you feel like you've got that opportunity, you can get that pit down, you can use that lockdown, okay, it gets cleared, so what? You have the Blade Storm, you have everything you need to get a thrifty win, but it doesn't come through. Gen.G's just too good right now, controlling the edges. I think Forsaken gets a little greedy, trying to go for that rifle up on top of Nest there. I mean, I get why he did it, but that costs them, you know, maybe it's safer to just play in the pit at that point, make sure you get the plant.
Yeah, I thought he had a moment, but of course, I mean, this is something that PaperX is so good at in the first map on Lotus, was recognizing that Gen.G will also never let go of the pedal once the fight starts. The trades always continuing to flow in. But as you mentioned, the ult's gone, but it's going to be a force up into the rifles. Only a Sheriff for Forsaken on the side of PaperX. Meanwhile, Charon still happy to pick up the judge here, as we've seen that PaperX is going to keep up the pace to 11. Really push the sights in. That's going to be the trap play set up here on green. Mosh used to push him back, allows Charon to set up close by the door. Forsaken caught a glimpse of it on that jump, but not quite the weapon just yet.
He's just going to be holding that angle. Actually, he's going to try to push it. This
no,
so
the top
dangerous.
flash.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and he baits out the weapon sound as well. So gets the information he wants. Meanwhile, Mind Freak was already all the way up tube. Meteor takes a bit of a hit. Divide there. They didn't quite suspect two members in mid already. Munchkin wanted to get him on the exit. And that gives PaperX the idea to try to push back up. Meteor's wise to it, though. Dwindles down the numbers, and Mind Freak now another curveball going under tube. Planting Forsaken back in tube as well. PaperX, they're continuing to keep control of mid. Nanoswarm used to allow for Lakia to hold a little bit safer on the side of yellow. Resurrection by Jing.
Yeah, and you got to be real careful
The thing
here,
is,
Lakia.
if you
have
playing
a
like
crash, so
5
you're a
man,
real big piece of this puzzle.
Well,
never mind.
it's most likely you're gonna meet with boosting.
PaperX now have control of
because
this site, but
my
Meteor
fellow
trying to
Indonesian,
defend his own lockdown with his life. Can anyone get here to make sure that it's going to be PaperX trapped into this
if
tech
you playing
will
Singapore,
clear the
playing
enemies,
5
but
party
something pushes
on
out
low
just in
rank is
time.
not,
Kitchen taken
it's
over
not
by
really good
Divide.
because
The
you
Texture,
will always
too
meet
many angles for him to try to clear with an
with,
operator, but he's
boosting
still
party.
going to go for it. Already posted up in Snowman. Doesn't catch something up top. Doesn't catch anybody else up top either, and Divide will swing out on a timing. Take Texture with a headshot, and that's going to be
like
the operator in something's hands.
Yeah,
in
showing us quite a different look
in
after
Indonesia.
this. Putting some mid pressure
Or
for
smart.
PaperX.
Yeah.
They're able to get a trade.
It's
Meteor with a good
because
frag there on the Devi after he got the kill on a Munchkin, but it's a good little bait and switch there with that
so
lockdown.
many low rep
knowing that the
playing,
operator
low
is there to
rank
cover it.
players
You know, Meteor
in
aware that
Indonesia,
they're
like
gonna have to try to
they're
push
willing
that
to
angle,
play
at least able to take a couple
for
down with
boosting.
him, but
That's
at the end
why
of the day,
so many smurf
numbers
on
advantage too strong. Not exactly
like
sure what happened with
bronze
Lakia
to
behind
silver.
yellow, but he got taken down quickly by Mind Freak. It's a big piece of that ult puzzle.
So it's better like
Taken
play
down and
solo or
immediately
only
counter
duo.
timeout for Gen G.
Yeah.
Don't
See if
ever
they can
play.
Reassess
By
what's going
party,
on. I'm
full
pretty
party.
curious about this. What they see that they didn't like in
Yeah,
that
is it-
round, maybe
is it
it's the
happen
mid control
on
stuff
Hong Kong
where they
server
tried to
too?
challenge it.
It
Now,
has
just-
to be something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
Just about the recognition of the potential trades, perhaps
Because,
getting, you know, maybe
I always thought
too
it's only
drawn
like
out by PRX's
in
initiative around mid. I mean, of course,
Singapore
if you can
server.
fully control mid, it's a great area here in Icebox. But generally, oftentimes, it's one of the least looked upon areas because it's so hard to get full control, right? If you can
Because
still
if
hold on to
you,
kitchen, something
like,
like that on the defense, Gen G might be happy enough for that.
checking
So
most
just
streamers
perhaps talking
on
about not getting
Indonesia,
wrapped up in the tempo of PRX.
they
Yeah,
are
there's so many angles you got to worry about
is it?
there. Paper X didn't really
they opening
invest
boosting
much in the way of
service
smokes to cover that those angles. They just kind of took that
like
space and
8
worked with it because they're
from
just that confident, that
8 to
good.
10
That,
streamers on
everybody's going to be
Indonesia.
kind of holding the proper
They all do
space.
it.
Devi, tries to push up too, but Meteor so stalwart in his defense time and time again on this Killjoy. Now, something going to be with the operator of his own. He tries to challenge off that
And
snake bite.
the price
I
is
think a
I
lot
think
more else
it's
damage.
It's K, Jin
it's
can
cheap,
heal.
bro, because
Yeah, that's
barely a dollar
true.
for rank in
That
silver.
armor gone forever, though. We'll see. It's going to be Sheriff's nonetheless, so Gen G is just going to have to look for headshots. This is
They
all
are-
really
and
once
they are
again a
most
trap play. We've seen
likely
Gen G rely
immortal.
on this every now and then if they wanted to throw a curveball.
So
They're
how,
actually just going to try
how
to swing
like
out. They don't want to let
silver
PRX
players
approach.
play
They know
with
PRX will
immortal,
check the
right?
corners, but they won't find the kills. And it's an attempt from Gen G, but it's going to fall flat as there is the aggro drawn by something. Great teamwork from PRX. Wall goes up, spike goes
ada
down.
lubang, Cok.
And
Oh,
that
sengaja.
should be the round as Munchkin sitting solo close to
Sembunyi
the
dong.
wall with a Sheriff. See if he can get a cheeky kill or two.
Hoping that maybe Jing is going to go up the rope.
Jing, lihat kanan lu, bro.
Restraint from PRX.
Bro,
A rare breed indeed. Oh my gosh. Attempted the 3K. Attempted it for sure.
Why not, right? Like, you might as well go big or go home there. You know you're probably dead eventually.
Yeah.
See if you can just take away from PRX as much as possible. A change in angle there, or something.
my money is
And the
gone.
player on his left
No, they,
switched over to the
they
right.
got 5
from the
points,
bait,
bro,
setting up Forsaken.
on first half. So I
That second
think
kill,
they have a
really
better
nice
chance
done
to
by
win
PRX, but now
because they got 2
operator
sentinels.
invested for texture again. Couple half armors here and
This
there.
is going horrible.
Thrash still going to be in Lakia's pocket. Forsaken has a no command though.
Emang
So
lawak
it's
sih
exactly
Cok.
how
Segitu
PRX
lagi nanya.
wants to play this.
Slow orb to make sure that anyone on pipes are not going to be able to peek
Ini
out too
comeback di
easily.
Lotus.
The 0 point should tag Lakia as well. So in a little bit of trouble. No command immediately to make sure that there is no utility for backup. And Lakia trying to make sure he goes to the anti-flash. They actually just don't check it up top. Munchkin draws the aggro first, and it's going to be 3 members down on the side of PRX. Gen G only taking damage on the side of their Gecko. So that
go to
takes
the
away the
top map,
thrash,
we
but
go.
it's going to be enough for the rest of Gen G to clear out a site and take another round win.
Yeah, it's just a player unaccounted for there. PRX just keen on trying to get past 410 and see what they can do. But
I don't think they will, bro.
shut right down by Gen G. I don't know what else to say about that. That one angle unaccounted for can swing around real quickly. That's going to be one of these cases. Great job by Munchkin playing that angle.
I don't think it's gonna be
Yeah, that's
going for
it's
third
a
map.
shutdown from there. So what do you do? GG go next for PRX on that round. Just
Yeah.
not much you can say other than oops, we forgot to check pipes.
Yeah, they'll have to remember that
What
one.
fun.
Now something, going back to what worked a couple rounds ago, just pressuring mid, trying to draw out some of that pressure on the side of the map. But they'll still have to deal with Texture's operator if they choose to go B. As we can see on the mini-map, Texture trying to decide which angle to hold, trying to back out further towards Snowman. As Gen G's made the decision, they're just going to hold near boiler, near mid, make sure that they're ready for a flood on either side.
Thrash going to be used to check mid, and it's not going to find anything, so
Gen
right
Z
back
did.
towards Lakia's
It's
hands
toxic.
it will go. Just divide
Wait.
the lone lurker, all 4 other members of PRX.
Oh, this angle.
Yeah, texture aware that something
what do you mean
loves to
to
swing out
toxic?
wide
Is
here
it
on
like
Elo. We see it all the time.
the fence or
Texture's
the
waiting
team
for it, but he
itself?
won't find the kill just yet. So he will get pressure with the fragment as well. Now, the spike absolutely getting planted with the pit as well. What's the answer? Is there still alert from Devi on the A side? See if that finds a good timing
Ah,
on the side of
kambing nggak bisa nih,
PaperX.
Cok. Kalah lagi
Meteor
dong. Kudu.
sitting in the pit, waiting for his teammates to pressure everyone else out as Karon has eyes on the Killjoy. Kept him locked up in mid, and now Gen G, they go for the retake. The
Wait,
Thrash
why do
comes
you
out,
think they are
trying to funnel
toxic?
everybody out of the pit. It's going to go land with the Paranoia out as well. Did they even hear the defuse with the Paranoia? Not quite sure. And now it's going to be PaperX who has to flood the pit itself, but it's going to be the defuse that already goes through. Not aware of the half being done.
Ah.
PaperX lose absolute control of
Habis
their
lagi,
own
Cok.
Viper's pit.
What I'm curious about here for
ini
PaperX
nggak-
is the whole time, Devi is
Yep,
just
GG.
watching from spawn down mid to see, you know, if there's any
Is it
lurks or any
gonna-
flanks or anything like that, but it's
I mean,
never
is it
even attempted.
because
Util just so good for Gen G that they're
They-
able to clear the
they-
pit enough.
they
You know,
usually
Meteor just
taunting,
sneaking in there right behind that box, able to take a little extra
after
space,
winning a round or
just in
something?
case when those taps start coming through that he's able to play from an unexpected angle. But
Because me
PaperX there
personally, I
showing
think
a little bit of
taunting is
some of that
part of a
rust, that
competitive
lack
game.
of coordination. You know, with Jing coming back into the roster, Karon,
So it's
boy.
normal.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I
and they
just
check
said
the
that.
corner, but
Ah.
not quickly enough as Karon gets two, and that should be enough to slow things down. Paranoia keeps Jing at bay. Lakia already under tube. Wingman clearing close, but Texture goes down from afar. Mindfreak will equalize the numbers. Meteor picks right
That's
up
what.
where
That's
Texture
the one
left
thing.
off.
I'm
And Jing has to heal. They should be aware.
Like,
the resurrection
I'm
comes in,
waiting-
and Divine tries to go for the trade, but it's a double stack. Lakia, Munchkin.
One of the
will
reason I
clean
watching,
things up,
like,
leading 8-4 at the half for
competitive
Gen G.
tournament, but
Yeah,
because
trying to use
taunting
the
is
res as
fun to
bait
watch.
there, but it doesn't fool them at all. Munchkin too crisp, too clean.
As long as not getting
Really
personal,
solid
so
A
think
slightly different look for Gen G. You know,
I
even
just
not
said
on
it,
the
but I
Jet
don't mind.
texture, able to find a bit of
I see, I
impact.
see.
But really, this is like Munchkin and Meteor just shutting these rounds down. And Lakia maybe not able to find as much impact as you'd like, but still good information control. You know, making sure they're checking mid, making sure that they're being a little bit more diligent about one of the few rounds that caused them a little bit of damage. Otherwise, you can see PaperX looking a little bit dejected after that first half.
I mean, so many Stinger buys as well, right? But not much fruition from them. The idea is there. Sure, you have a Sage Wall as well. You can force the plant. You can cause some close quarters
This is
combat
not looking good.
to go
We are getting this
crazy,
wrong.
but not quite seeing it. Lots of parents bringing their kids
told
to
you, bro.
watch some Valorant as
PRX
well.
not
as
so good in
Valorant's really
Xbox.
been taking over kind of the younger generation here in Korea.
That's why
Of
it's so
course,
weird
with
when
all the Korean teams playing tonight.
it's
a
their
lot
my
of
pick
fans
for
out in the
this
audience.
match.
Yes, it was getting raucous in the crowd when Gen G started stringing those rounds together on Lotus.
Like why?
You know, those texture aces certainly lit them afire.
I mean, surely a round like that, everyone around the world, right? No matter who you're
Yes.
cheering for, some good Valorant. But Lotus, both teams really swinging at it, whereas this time, PaperX will have to find their footing again after the reset at the half. They'll look for the defense. Killjoy set up on A, a triple stack on B. Could even go for the Siege Wall on the Ult Orb, something like that. We'll see what type of control they want. 0 point at the ready for Forsaken from mid.
Well, it's going to be kind of very similar again. Both teams kind of mirroring each other in their pistol rounds, just like we saw in Lotus. So Gen G going to get the site for free. Can they kind of turn the tables? Last time it was the defenders who were able to get this, but it's a much faster retake attempt here. PaperX already finding one. Munchkin down, the trade from Mindfreak as well.
Yeah, the flank coming in very
If
fast.
PRX
Shinji wasn't
was
quite ready for
again
that. They
on
were
Gen G,
peeking
they're
out,
pro-
but it seems that they were a little
They
bit
went
caught
to-
off guard. But a good angle from Texture. He'll still alive with 27 HP. See if that's the deal breaker as Karon swinging around. He finds one. Lakia's going to pick up the kill. Goes for the trade there, and Jing, everyone solo. Mindfreak's actually going to pick up the headshot onto two. Lakia and Karon goes down. Texture still at 27 HP. Devi at 89.
Oh my
He gets
God.
spotted up top. Texture, hear the drop, but he can't land the headshot as there's a slight ramp down. And Devi will get the kill and the defuse.
Yeah, as much as the beginning part of that
If
round was
PRX
kinda similar,
like
it was a much faster
Indonesian
retake from
odds,
PaperX. As soon as that
I'm
spike started
gonna
going down,
agree
they
with
were just
you,
like,
but
all right, let's go.
it's Singaporean.
Let's do it. The late flank there from Mindfreak catches
Because
a ton of value. Once again, having a phenomenal
I
map.
personally
even though they
think
have
that
gone
athletes
PaperX's
from
way so
Indonesia
far.
is
Mindfreak has been
they
shining
have
star
a lack
today
integrity,
by
integrity,
able to just get enough in there and just-
integrity.
yep.
Yeah,
But
Devi's
this
been
is
very
like
confident.
Singaporean
It's all been yips and
organization.
and yeah, all
Yeah.
the way through on the replays.
Oh, it's hard.
Obviously, I mean, not too much to cheer for yet for
It's hard
PaperX.
to
They got
believe
close,
that
but no cigar on
there's a
map
fraud.
1. And now, quite a few rounds to string together if they want to get back the lead on Icebox.
No force buy from Genji. So things kind of looking a little bit more normal. But
I have to
Munchkin,
look
these
up
tricky positions, are they going to be
for
accounted
Thompson.
for? He gets hit
Yeah,
through the
it's a Singapore
grate,
organization.
Yeah, the grate of that fence.
Just barely stays alive. Had to go for the left clicks as the right clicks also would have just hit the grade as well. But it's going to be
kaget,
Mindfreak. Swings out,
Udah
well
di situ
aware of the
aja.
lurk in from Meteor. And Wingman not even going to get the plan, and it looks like Genji perhaps losing a lot of that value. Texture will pick up a kill. Mindfreak not quite
Depan
aware
muka lu,
of
Cok.
Karon's position.
Laron situ dia.
A bit of an angle.
Alah,
Texture
mati.
gets another at long range around the poison cloud. It's a swing out from Karon. He waited so patiently, and he's able to try to hold control of the site. And Texture with 30 on the Sheriff makes the crowd go
pala
wild
nih, Cok.
once again
Thrifty
after a
lagi.
few quiet rounds.
It's brutal. PaperX just, I noticed that on the other side of the coin, they were being a little bit more diligent about checking for some of those cheeky positions that Munchkin might take. Like, if you give up A space early, you know, we saw this at Masters Madrid where Munchkin would push right towards nest and push underneath belt. And this
Check
time
him
around,
PC,
he hides
check
a
him
position that
PC.
does a ton of damage, but the other end, so Sheriff singing their song for Meteor and Texture, doing a ton of damage, and yeah, just sneaky positions, something that Genji has been so good at on this map, using just those little micro timings to get ahead of your information, and it costs dearly.
Oh,
Costs dearly for PaperX. We're now in Sheriffs of their own. Couple rifles for Genji, a Spectre and a Bulldog as well. So now PaperX just trying to see if they can guess correctly where this is going to go. Genji's been very quiet, very slow.
Stack is there. All the Sheriffs, like you mentioned. 3 already on
Sentinels
Evan,
clear.
2 by Boiler. They should be a quick backup as well. Flash drives at the ready, so is the frag. When the toxic screen comes down, they were waiting for this moment.
Nice.
Divide picks off 1, and Genji, they might have to reconsider things as Wingman will go in for the plant. But is that just enough?
Nice,
No, Lockett
Cok.
can't get the spray down through the
Buat
toxic
dua,
screen.
oke.
Something will pick off the kill. Now Nano Swarms at the ready. But PaperX, they're ready to push things out. It's going to be the Cloudburst, try to draw out a reaction. There's the Sage Wall, they have to break that quickly, but the swing of the wide swing, something once again, the crosshair magnet works
Coming,
its
nice,
magic,
nice,
and
nice,
that's
nice.
all the time Forsaken needs
Kabret
for
gua
the
apaan, Cok?
defuse. PaperX answer right back with a thrifty. Ah,
Swing
yes.
apa itu anjir?
We're right back to kickoff. Both teams just kind of thrifting each other all over the place. I mean, this again, these timed retakes from PaperX where they're going to wait for you to start getting into position, and that's when they strike. And it makes it so difficult to recover because they're happy to play these scrappy games. They're happy to play like trust in
Factory
your own
gaming,
instincts,
man.
trust in your own reaction type gameplay. A lot of other teams are thrown off by it. You can see this time, Genji's done a pretty good job overall handling it, but this time does get the better of them with those guns. So now Thrash going to be used early by Lakia. Get a little, and it does get the detain onto Mindfreak.
Aaron,
He has no
ngapain,
help.
Cok?
Yeah, they're trying to chase through with the Shrouded Step as well, and Texture barely lands in time to get that kill. Mindfreak, all he could do was turn around and crawl away for his life, crying for help.
Tempat-tempatnya situ
But help
kambing.
was too far. Now Mosh at the ready, so is the
Nice.
Paranoia. It's a
Okay, dua.
brutal trade, though. 2 for
Oh,
2.
udah nahan, Cok.
Now
Meteor.
from the shadows, they recognize that everyone is here. Meteor already through tube. Does he sense anyone right under him? Don't think they would have heard him just yet. It's going to be, I look at the positions. I mean, Lakia holding
Oh no.
Oh,
way
kambing jauh
deep in
banget, Cok.
attacker spawn. And Meteor trying to hold on to mid. Now hasn't quite checked out the window just yet. Forsaken and him. They will, okay,
Alah.
now they'll be
Timing.
aware of each other. Lakia catches 1. The 0 point, meanwhile, pushes Meteor away from Kitchen. And Forsaken, now he has to find the remaining members. He has to clear them out. He gets one onto Lakia. He's looking up above Tube. But now with Texture already out of the site, Meteor, no reason to rush it. They're just going to force him away from the spike.
Forsaken gonna try to tuck into the garage area, and we'll get there. But the real
Tadi
question
Aaron
is,
ngapain, Cok?
is he gonna be hunted down? Still a little bit of time. Ping's coming down for Genji. Shots ring out. Forsaken knows that Meteor's over there, and knows that he has to be tucked behind that bridge. Gonna watch it. The turret coming out though. Not going to be able to find the kill. I love what Gen G does on this round.
Tadi
First of all, they
ngapain ya?
read that there's just going to be potentially just a solo player holding down that B side. A lot of attention being paid towards A by PaperX so far. So they're able to use that thrash to make sure, excuse me, the thrash to get that pick. And then it's just, they read the rest of the map so incredibly well. They're trading, and then they see, oh, there's only 2. We have an Omen ult. Over to A we go. And then from there, there's just no hope for PaperX. They're trying to do what they can, but
Holds on to the entire map, right?
Yeah.
Just to spread out. Normally, we kind of speak against that, obviously trying to stick to numbers, but just understanding how much the PaperX would have to clear
Sometimes we
to approach the
don't
retake.
get
Now
what
Gen G
we
pressuring A site once
hoping
again,
for,
and this
bro.
time PaperX, it's a reactionary
That's
round.
called
They
life.
try to go for a spread out 2-1-2 default. Now scrambling towards A.
Para
Gen
ba
G
sini?
though, no lurk, just the turret to watch their flank. So they don't have too many options to rotate out no matter how much time is left. Just going to be a set execute, but an immediate clearance of all the utility makes him think twice about this one. The paranoia to allow Texture to dive in with the Shrouded Step. He's already under, but he gets spotted. The slow arm keeps him tied up. He will go for the trade for Forsaken with a quick double, and another from Devi and Jing each. It's going to be a
Parang mana
perfect
cok di
defense
ujung
from
dunia
PaperX
dia
as they
ngambil.
hold on to 3 members.
well, now you can see kind of part of the game plan here for PaperX. Understanding, yes, we talked about the fact that they're really good at finding these timings when Gen G wants to make their executes and shutting them down. You're seeing it here again. But part of that is also because of the fact there's no
It's a
jet.
boss
It
round.
makes it a lot harder for Gen G to take space here. And
They
PaperX
push
has
and then
recognized
dive.
that. And they're shutting it down. They're hitting them at the point of attack, knowing that Gen G has to rely on those util dumps. You called it. They're clearing a lot of that utility when it comes out and sidestepping it, and taking really good angles, really good crossfires, making it really tricky for Gen G. So Gen G, they want to start thinking more about this B site, more about using some of their utility to clear these angles. Ooh. See if they can get a plant down. Devi does find one towards mid. A lurking meteor accounted for.
Yeah, Lockett
Nice.
took a hit through his own Dizzy as well. Forsaken still holding on. Wasn't quite ready for Texture to swing out, but he will get out
Okay, well
safely.
played.
Jing finds the lurking Munchkin. PaperX starting to get a pulse onto the opponents and their abilities to rotate and lurk. Now,
Stuck in that garage area.
yeah, not
Langsung
much
bunyi
to
lagi
do
tuh
on
dia tuh.
this round. Just trying to see if the opponents approach them for a couple cheeky kills like that.
Well, they're just trying to dodge all that fire, but eventually Jing is going to find him. He down, only on Texture. Did pick up a Phantom in the midst of all of this, but with 61 HP. Not looking ideal, and turns just at the last second. Mind Freak good
Let's
for the
go,
final
let's
kill.
go,
It's PaperX
let's
up to
go.
8, starting to catch up towards Gen G.
Oh, we've seen this before already tonight.
Yeah.
We'll see if PaperX can make the same magic happen. We've had a lot of PaperX fans visiting Seoul for their games even since last year. Try to get that side of the arena, bearing up a little bit of that energy, get them something to cheer for, as they're now only 2 rounds away to tie things up. Trying to make this go to a map 3 unbind.
Look at that green bar of ultimates.
Yep.
That's so scary now as Gen G, you finally get into a buy round. There's so much available. They're just gonna go.
Oh, it's the wall up. I've been waiting for something like this. PaperX, there's never just a clean game of Sage. It's always something tricky,
nice.
and it's just a push out across the entire map. This Gen G just dropped like flies all near their spawn, never able to leave home. And PaperX shuts the door in front of them.
Flawless, cok.
You only have to use one ult there. That's the res. You get your guns back. You keep your economy great for PaperX.
I mean,
Now-
they can do the same thing with the null command this time and res him up again.
Exactly. Why not? She got reses for days as PaperX. I mean, it's just crazy what they do sometimes,
Wait.
man. I mean, I'm just like trying to like talk about what happened previously, and I'm like, forget it. They're just gonna,
Wait,
they're just
I,
gonna
I
rush
think you said your
yeah,
go
this
to
is
a
just tempo
Sentinels, bro.
change, right? Catches Gen G entirely off guard. I mean, probably something that Gen G thought about at the start of the map, but the fact that it has not happened at all the way up to round 19, makes them a little lax, and that's when PaperX strikes. The boost up, the elevator.
It's just such, great timing, great thought processes that PaperX is able to figure out. I mean, you see this all the time with PaperX. They lose a map or they go down early in a map, and something changes inside of them. I'm not just talking about the player, just the team in general. Their thought processes, their mindset. They're so unflappable, is PaperX, that they're, you know, they just kind of, they're still in the game and they're not getting overheated, you know, in the traditional sense where they're starting to push. They find the right timings for these pushes and they can make them work because of how good they are. They've got these plays in the back pocket that can start to change the momentum without needing a timeout or anything like that. These ideas that Forsaken, typically the IGL is going to be calling some of the bigger idea picture plays, has in his mind that they've worked in a short amount of time. They haven't had a ton of time to practice Icebox, just a couple days.
Yeah, and it's just going to be the early pit as
it's
well
easy,
this
like
time.
the
Right
team where
outside of
some
Pipes
play.
doesn't want to risk that pit getting caught off guard just a little bit, so making sure that he denies the entry point, gets the high-low as well, and that allows Mindfreak to set up the toxic screen for his teammates here, and it looks like there's a cheeky Sage wall going on somewhere near the B nest.
Everybody's here.
Oh, the flash gets a big tag. Now just going to be a hold here onto the B site. Now with the pit up in A, unless Gen G takes over some part of mid for a pinch, they're not going to have too many options.
They're trying to get to the corner so they can get the Viper's pit
Farming is
spotted before the flash. A bit of a mismatch. This is not something we used to see from Gen G in the beginning of the year. But now with the Omen in the mix, they haven't quite cleaned up the timings just yet. And PRX will punish that mistake like there's no tomorrow. Wingman trying to get the tag, but it's just way too many members. Lakia will do his best something investigation, but it doesn't end with a kill. As we see Meteor last one alive, not able to land it on the Jing.
It's just
right now, they're gonna win.
Starting to read the map really nicely.
Good for
starting
them
to understand where, you know, Gen G isn't having success on A, so they're going to start moving their attention over. The Viper's Pit helps, of course. That gives you a lot of control over that space, and they use it nicely. But Gen G never really shows any other look. They're able to just kind of plant their feet here. The flash came just a little bit too late, perhaps, from Munchkin. And Texture wasn't able to get through that from the shadows correctly in time. Or something it got a glimpse of him as he got flashed, was able to get the kill. So you're also maybe seeing a little bit of this new comp change for Gen G, kind of showing a little bit of polish that is lacking. Oh my god.
Yeah, something just looking for an early pick. Now PRX, they should be wary of this. They've already pushed him out of B with the 0 point. Something won't quite finish a kill here. Charon down to 5 HP. As Gen G, they will still relentlessly try to go forward with this. Wingman getting spammed through the wall. He cannot finish the plan. The lockdown already committed from Gen G, but PRX has slowed down the onslaught. And Gen G, they will have to recover the spike and still battle through this retake, along with a lockdown, a potential no command, everything in the arsenal of PRX, and it's going to be the classic aggro draw as Forsaken gets the trade, swings out for a third, and he goes for a fourth, and that is PRX taking over the lead for the first time here on Icebox.
I just love the quickness that PRX makes decisions to do things. You know, they stick around a little bit for the lockdown. They don't have the fragment to clear it, so they're just looking for a few picks and other things. They get those, they back off. As soon as it's done, it's down. You know, it's just going to be something charging through. Forsaken immediately holding another angle off the different direction. Protocols there so good for PRX on this retake. Everybody looking where they need to, doing the right things at the right time. Don't even have to invest that counter lockdown that you mentioned, Will. They were able to hold on to it, so they've still got it. They've still got a no command.
They should win this.
Something's got a Blade Storm. Maybe if he wants to switch to an Alpha. I'm a bit surprised. Haven't seen one here. All this extra money, but you don't need it when you're that good.
Yeah, might have even heard that one. Texture trying to scout it out, but something just too good on the swing. And now the flash used from Forsaken to try to put extra pressure onto Garage. Gen G has to keep clearing all of that. Meteor tries to take it upon himself to open the map a bit further in mid, but it's not there, so they continue pushing. Green, something still here. Whiffs on that first shot, not able to stabilize. Now a 2v3 for Gen G. You've still got the Thrash. You've still got the Dizzy. One more flash drive as well. They do have the tools. If they can catch Divine here in mid, if he can pick up that kill, and Divine knows, as long as I stay alive, the backup's there. Munchkin takes a lot of hits for his trouble.
Yeah, and they're going to try to split the map, see if they can confuse PRX, but PRX is fully committed towards A, especially with that knife there. That's got to be your thought that it's going to be that. Now the Thrash on the other side, so you're thoroughly confused as PRX to which side of the map this is actually going to be. You do get the detain onto Forsaken. Going to use the Dizzy as well to check if he has any cover, but Jing is just arriving through Kitchen.
Yeah, they weren't able to capitalize on that kill just yet, so that means Munchkin, while he's rotated all the way back over for his teammate, trying to make sure that they have a bit of a numbers advantage. Now to capitalize on that, and now it's all up to Wingman. The swing off the flash drive, Jing not able to stop the plant. this might be the best chance that Gen.G has had. The drop, the quick check for Lakia, looking for another. Can he get a second? No, and it's going to be Jing and Forsaken.
Okay,
The duo.
they win.
They're going to be able
They
to bring
absolutely
home
win.
PRX right up to a map point.
I already thought maybe that was going to be the round when you lose that lockdown, that maybe Gen.G's going to be able to hang on, but PaperX's gunplay so on point. Something now getting aggressive on B, something we haven't seen from PaperX yet. Now they're starting to get really deep into their playbook. You're starting to see why they like this map. This defender side has been nearly flawless for them, just a couple rounds dropped. Now that Operator is in hand, Bladestorm in the back, still the lockdown, the no command available. Forsaken have a whale of a map, both KOs really showing up, especially on their defender side. You're gonna leave Jing, the lone man on A with some of that KJ utility to bail out. Oh, excuse me, I just saw something now.
Oh yeah, doubled up.
I didn't see that earlier. He was buried underneath Jing's icon on the map.
I mean, they are oftentimes all stacked up against each other, waiting for the trades. So we shall see. Lockdown and no command still in the pockets of PaperX. Like you mentioned, something now peeking out. Jing covering him for any peeks out from Belt. So A side secured for PaperX. The solid 2-1-2 default as it's just going to Forsaken. Going for a jiggle. Now calls for backup. Device still watching mid for the team. The Poison Cloud not activated yet from Charon.
Util dump coming through. Still have that Viper's pay out. Let's see if they can get it down this time. Buy a little bit of extra space. Mind Freak re-aggressing.
Yeah, and he's trying to hold close. He doesn't want this pit to come up. He wants to strike when the iron is hot, and he'll try to swing out. They're trying to make sure that Gen.G dumps all their util before they have to do anything. Forsaken trying to go for a long-range trade, but it's going to be Gen.G who still just wins out in the numbers. Four angles covered. The smoke eventually dissipates. There is the jump up onto the wall. Halakia eventually gets the spike down. Now something trying to join Jing in the verticality as we see a from the shadows from Texture. Lands all the way behind PaperX, and they have to jump into the smokes as Lakia sprays down for two. It's all up to something, and with the Bladestorm, it's going to be so tough to try to clear this Viper's pin. Skirts around, and Charon will answer back. We still go yet another round.
Okay, I mean, again, these cheeky positions, both teams just finding these nooks to hide it, and this time they're going to use a smoke.
Going overtime, then PRX lose.
Device just bunny hopping through there. Jing's like, okay, this is safe. I'm just going to drop down, and all of a sudden, that's two members down. Pushing through on the site here, Charon find that angle, able to get that trade. Big part of Gen.G's gameplay is other teams have been talking about it. Some of their interviews when you face Gen.G is that it feels like there's always another player there. There's always that trade. Everybody's working off each other so well. It's a big part of why they've been as successful as they have. Now they're using a lot of utility. Starting to take some space. Something not going to invest in that up. Not quite enough money in the bank, I guess. Well, they could have done it, but they didn't. They didn't opt to. I mean, look at it.
Choosing the mobility, it seems, throughout this entire map. It's going to be the site execute once again. PaperX, are they ready for the 5-stack? It looks like it's slow orb keeping them at bay. The null command used as well. They still have a lockdown for a potential retake or another pushback out that gives Mind Freak the opportunity now to cover for mid. He's checking for the rotation. They don't see anything yet. A ping comes out on the B side for Gen.G. They have all the intention to rotate over. Now with the Poison Cloud going up, Mind Freak, it's his job to hold the line. One Nano Swarm to disrupt any type of plant. The null command coming out, but it's not going to be catching the Killjoy just yet. Forsaken takes down the KO, and Mind Freak just trying to drag this fight out as long as possible. A wide swing from Texture, but Jing gets yet another kill. It's going to be the long-range hold from something, and now it's all down to Texture as Jing takes him down. 13-11 once again, but on the other side is PaperX. They finally answer for their own nightmares on Icebox, pick up a victory, and take us on to Bind.
And on Icebox of all maps. I mean, I think PaperX, just trying to limit test a little bit here on this map, just seeing what they're truly capable of. And yeah, the attacker side has some things to be desired, but this defender side was nearly immaculate. I mean, so many good decisions, so much disruption of Gen.G's timings on their execute, things like that made it really, really tough. And it seemed like every time that Gen.G maybe had finally found a little bit of extra idea, it was countered the next round by PaperX.
Well, PaperX, after 8 bans in Icebox in 2024, the first time they pick it, they'll bring home the victory. Let's take it to the desk to break down how it all went down.
How it all went down almost thought it was over. We almost thought it was going to be a 2-0, and then PaperX finally start showing some of their crazy harebrained ideas and how much anti-stratting that they did, especially on the defender side. And yes, this is the PaperX bundle. Also buy the Gen G bundle. Anyway, we're going to a third map, Achilleos.
No, we are. And I mean, we were kind of talking about it, that this is what we wanted. Just given these two teams, we wanted to see as much as humanly possible. Things looking a lot rougher than I would have anticipated, I think, going into that icebox for Gen G. Struggling, a minor attack, a chance at trying to extend that into that overtime, but just barely falling shy of the mark there. Felt like a little bit of a, I don't know, just a change up. And I do question a little bit now, the texture getting shifted over onto the zone. It's the first time that he's ever played it. First time he's ever played any controller, mind you, in his career. He just has never done that before.
No.
And while I think overall it was okay, having the impact from him on a duelist was something that felt like it was very much lacking.
They need that dive capability, right? Especially on the attacking side. But on defense, you know, they were quite able to kind of, you know, disturb PaperX's hits very, very often. Every time PaperX tries to dive right in, you know, you got something going through. He's right up there. Texture is able to throw out the Paranoia, Lakia with the Gecko Dizzy, of course, and it's just that's much more difficult for PaperX on the attacking half. That's why they ended in a 4 and 8. And there were so many of these moments where, you know, sometimes PaperX were just trying to rush in, going with that aggression, but corners weren't quite checked. It's only down to the second half where, I mean, yes, Gen G were still able to come up with some pretty good rounds. They actually won the subsequent round after the pistol. However,
dropped it immediately.
Credit to PaperX. I think what was cool is, you know, you started to see some of these set plays, some of these ideas where Jing makes use of the wall, that one round in round 18, I believe, where the whole team just rushes down A belt.
I hope we can play tomorrow.
There was some absolute insanity. I mean, having it like a titles crunch basically on Icebox A is just. That's the PaperX creativity that we've come to know and love. Just, all right,
playing, so I'm gonna watch instead of playing too.
Rush them down, we just pick them all apart in like 10 seconds. It was there were some gorgeous sights here in this map, and I am very happy to see that this is going to be going the distance, because now the pendulum swings back.
Fellow Indonesian,
how do you look going into bind?
You're not gonna
PaperX,
play.
where they're feeling maybe overall.
Tomorrow I don't think.
I mean, they had a 14-12 against
But maybe
T1
tonight I'm gonna
last
play.
week. It does feel a little bit more comfortable. It's where they're, you know, kind of their home ground is, and you have that Reina composition as well. But they have shown different compositions before, and Gen G, they've mainly stuck to their one with, you know, texture on the rays, Brimstone, the Gecko, and everything. So you kind of have to wonder how that's going to go. I mean, is either team prepared for it? Because Gen G does have a bit of tape to study in that game against T1.
But I think I'm gonna play
but
tonight.
At the same time, I mean, right now, it's just, although it looked like we were starting to lose the map a little bit, PaperX start to look a lot more cohesive towards the end, especially with the whole team just knowing what their role is and just kind of watching for the information, Mind Freak watching for the rotates. That's like the PaperX that we've all come to know and love.
Maybe on Monday night.
It looked like a lot of what they had prepared was for the defensive side. And to your point about
for
the
tonight,
team compositions,
there's a good chance I'm gonna
the agent
out with my
compositions
friends
for Bind,
again.
it could. They've shown a variety, and you're right that Gen G did have some tape to study, but at the same time, PaperX is pretty notorious for changing their comps.
Wait, what? You usually play in Hong Kong server?
Yes, in the past. You know, we were talking about this when they did go up against T1.
Doesn't he gonna like
stage 1. I
think
that they are going to have to
on other server, bro.
strats of old, not the Yoru setup or anything like that, because that one's a little bit more complicated. That's going to take some more reps to really get into the.
They play
Because for me, I don't think
at this point, it could
can
happen.
play on
I
other
was not
server than
expecting
Singapore.
Texture to play Omen. That was on my bingo card for the year, let alone this series.
Right.
So they could just go back over to it,
Singapore
but I think
is
leaning
my
on
best
that
thing.
Reina Raze is going to be a bit more recent, a bit more comfortable for them.
I
But
thought
maybe they do want to change up and go to something that they
Hong
haven't
Kong
shown
server.
as recently. So we'll have to say, for Gen G, I think I'd be curious to see if there's also going to be adjustments from them going into it.
we can play.
Well,
like
there's another thing we need to discuss, and it's our rank. Our rank. And it looked like, you know, it was going to be a 2-0 and we would rank up, at least with the Gen G pick with texture.
Okay, so I think, so overall, here's the issue.
What
Okay,
time?
I thought
Maybe
I was
around
fairly
like
confident that Jing was going to be playing Sage.
9.
So I
Okay.
said,
9
okay,
PM
well,
or
texture on Jet
8?
likely to have more impact.
Yeah.
I had no idea he was going to be playing Omen.
Wait,
Had I known,
what do
had he
you?
asked this question
It's
after
around
I saw the
8
Asian
or
Select,
9
I would have said Jing.
on
the future. I can't win any points.
ICT.
Imagine if you could argue your way out of rank to
Then
argue
that's
your
it.
rank. That would be like, Seth
Nah,
would be like
I
radiant.
only
He would
play
be
like I
radiant.
usually play
But you know
on
what,
night.
you're right. I was totally kidding. Seeing texture on a different role, then he plays the Owen. It's like, oh no. Anyway, I go down to flat. Here we
Oh no, I'm so
go.
sad for you.
Ah. Well,
Yeah, you're right. Silver is worse.
where do you come from? I mean,
It's a nice color though. It's very
I mean,
flattering.
you know,
yeah.
if you are
that's
like
fine, but
There
you
you go.
have to.
Where's Wingman?
That's the problem.
Wingman is the audience
Wingman
vote.
goes up.
from
Oh, the audience got it correct?
That's what's the most frustrating to me.
what is it? The
Whoa, they knew. And you know
the
what?
GM
I
tier,
hope
Greenwich
Auntie Pearl's
Mean
not
Time.
watching this because she's gonna be like, how dare you not pick Jing?
She
But-
is watching.
She's in the audience. But look, on bind, if this was a bind
Ah, yeah,
vote,
from
I would
Philippines.
100% pick Jing. If it
Well,
was
so
like
it's
with a bind
down to
map
the
instead of
race
Icebox.
It's gonna
Icebox
be
is
like
a little bit hard to predict on this
10
one.
If I knew what
10
texture was going to
PM
play, I'd 100% want to Jing is.
Yeah.
on you,
Well,
right?
Texture just wanted
yeah,
it. He was
it's-
just
it's
screwing
a-
you
it's a
over
bit
specifically.
Like,
All right, but
but
Forsaken and
I usually
Munchkin
play
were phenomenal on
like
Icebox.
I mean, yeah, Munchkin was very much putting up a solid fight to try to keep them in this
Take
one,
off.
but things were just
Mine.
way too scrambled overall. I think a lot of the calls and the attempted executions
Maybe,
from
like-
Gen G were pretty lackluster and counteracted really swiftly by PaperX. They did have some really nice retakes on the defensive side, but overall,
I play on
this was
afternoon is
just
only
a team
Sunday,
diff,
but
I'd say
because
across the board. Mind Freak as well continues to look
Tonight-
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
astounding today. I don't know what
Okay,
he
okay.
ate for lunch, but whatever it was,
Girlfriend buff.
it was amazing.
Girlfriend buff.
But
And you
he's
got a
just
perm.
he's just crushing it. And I mean, one of the big reasons why that first half was so dominant was because of Mind Freak.
He's securing a lot of these like impactful frags and getting great positions for the team. But I also believe, I mean, Forsaken as this KO, you saw a lot of these clips where something was
The
able
only
to get
place
kills
is, like,
around yellow,
7
but
PM.
that's enabled from Forsaken splashes, and that's something that I think is so effective. But not only that, once they start to get rounds like those, then the whole team
Patigan
starts to
niya,
feel
bayan, Chuk.
more confident, and then you have that PaperX again, because there was that one round,
You're
I think it was round 21,
optimistic
where the
sila.
whole team just kind of
Bayan,
waterfalled
install
off
map
of like
quest
A
juga.
Heaven, A Raptors, and everyone just started to dive in. Forsaken got 4 kills off of that.
Oh yeah, and you're absolutely right. The way that Forsaken has been playing with something and pairing up with those KO flashes, it's been fantastic. And sometimes it doesn't always work out, but you can see the ideas are there, and you can see that confidence come
Munchkin.
back in for something, which may not have been
Munchkin.
consistently there before.
I will say my heart goes out to Munchkin because that one moment when he was lurking alongside the
Oh.
Sage Wall by himself.
The Sheriff.
If he had hit the 3K, it would have been one of the greatest plays ever. But at least he got the one. It wasn't the full whip. It wasn't the I'm tucked behind box outside ascent A.
Yeah.
I'm gonna now try to back
Oh.
and then just whipping everything.
We don't talk
it wasn't
about that.
But it would have been neat. But seeing that, I was just like, oh, he's just like me for real. That's exactly what I would do in that situation.
Well, the question is going to be answered. What is going to be the team comms for these two teams? PaperX, again, has shown many different iterations.
What?
Okay, something on Gecko.
And, yeah, it's not the double
No,
duels
okay.
comp. It's not the double duels comp.
I mean, I don't mind this at all, just given the proficiency for something on Gecko and how strong he is. I mean, Gecko has a really clear identity in multiple different team comps by multiple teams around the world on this very map. I mean, T1 kind of being the big ones in Pacific to really start pushing it forward.
We did kind of see that in that previous map as well, Lucky on the Gecko. The Thrash is just such a strong ultimate, and it's very useful for countering Munchkin's Viper's Pit.
And we know that Forsaken, an incredible harbor in his own right. I'm really curious to see how this is going to match up with that in the Brim, going up against the Brim Viper, which, the majority of people are going to be leaning in towards having that Viper, having that additional post-point util.
I just want to see Mindfreak staying consistent. I
They
believe
could
that this
count
can
something
go
squirrels,
the
yeah.
full distance. I mean, it's been a bit of a race to see who can find that lead so far, and both teams are just keeping up to date.
It's only day 5 of stage 1, but I feel like we're already watching a grand final event. This has been so incredible to watch. We're going to go into our 3rd map of this series. Let's go over to our casters, William and Paperthin.
Thank you very much. PRX bringing out another change, a bit of a throwback here for their own composition, going all the way back to Masters Tokyo, where they had CGRS the Gecko main, and they made this comp work. It was, in fact, last use in the match where we had something we like to call the Cove incident. And PRX moved on from that one. We'll see if they can do it again today.
I've been keeping my eyes out for it. I haven't seen it since. I think Forsaken cleared that one up a bit, or just has to stop going for that lineup, really. Felt like it wasn't quite there, but who knows? You know, I like this change up from PRX with this agent comp because I think, you know, maybe against T1 you feel like you have a little bit more of advantage in your skill diff. You could take advantage of that Reyna, but this is going to be a much more chess match oriented battle, as we've already seen quite a bit. So a hard rotate from PRX off of just a little bit of utility contact, and it is work treat for Gen G. They have fooled them mightily.
Yeah, taken over short entirely. However, PRX will they position for a potential TP as well. The teleporter, they're thinking about it. They're actually just going to jump right on in as you hear the guiding lights coming out onto A site. No fear, clearing out showers, and suddenly the position's very good for PRX. They will take a big hit from something. The high Dizzy along with the Trailblazer. It's just their own two comp right now, and that draws all the aggro as Mindfreak's able to sneak out from his own smoke. He's now just holding heaven. They know that people are missing. He's just trying to buy time as everyone's missing their right clicks, but Munchkin will finally land the shot. Something trying to hold on to the site, and of course, eventually it is just going to be the round ending here as PRX gets to defuse.
All according to plan, I take it back. That didn't fool PRX at all. This was all according to plan. You know, they're going to overcommit towards that B side because everybody and their grandma knows that it's really hard to retake B. And so they're going to commit to trying to stop that plant. It doesn't come through with TP. My concern here is Gen G doesn't really react to this the way I expected. I thought they'd get the plant down and then hold U-Haul.
That's why wingman like overpower
towards short, and they don't. Instead, they just
the molly doesn't
deep
make
into A, and
the
they don't
wingman.
account for Mindfreak being up into A heaven already, just waiting. He had eluded any of their detection on that take, and that cost them. That cost them that round. You know, yeah, Texture comes in there and gets some big frags, but you're going to be on a variety of pistols.
Yeah.
For the side of Gen G, even a Frenzy for Munchkin, we never see that. Usually if he's going to grab something else, it's going to be a Sheriff, one of those guns he can one-tap with, but he's come around a little bit of info gained.
Yeah, great flight path there. Sends it all the way through the window as well, as they had already taken over main. Of course, Hookah, the only place that's missing. Devi just going for a spray off of the drop. Knows that they have to be somewhere near the smoke. Wait for a little backup. It's just going to reset onto the headshot against Texture. The spike will get planted, but it's going to be Forsaken who just puts up the cove, waits for them to flood it, and the Stinger good for two. Meteor not having his Sheriff out just in time. It's going to be a flawless for PRX.
Yeah, looking good. I mean, again, even though they give up space, PRX knows how they want to react to that. To that situation. the Hawk to confirm, great timing from Devi. It's the first one for free. A bit of a whoopsie there from Texture when he stuck his gun out of the smoke, but yeah, I mean, what do you do against that? Forsaken's so fast with the Stinger, slows two down, even though they're trying to obfuscate that position with that classic for Gen G. I mean, yep, good old Uncle Abe. He's very good with it, no doubt about it. Man, what a round for PRX. I mean, already very unorthodox playstyle here from PRX. Nobody plays the maps that the way that they do, with their willingness to give up space like that. Almost never see that anywhere else.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of awareness.
I love this.
Yeah, they've been doing that for the default here the past couple rounds. Wanted to touch upon it on the previous round, but of course, delays any push into window, but also allows you to control that orb on long. A bit of a, perhaps, variation, something they might have picked up against their previous opponents, T1, who had a deep wall, allowing them to push out of window every time on B short.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now, PRX with their own version of it. Now Gen G, they're gonna wait for that high tide. Oh, and Devi's just waiting for it. Sights trained, gets Lakia off the rip. Texture not gonna get tagged by it, but PRX well aware that Gen G has not moved an inch. Just cutting audio. Texture now been spotted. He has to pick up the tempo. The rest of the team has to come through. The Thrash, it's going to tag a bunch of people, and Jin's gonna go for the cleanup as Texture just has to hide himself in hopes that he can recover the round.
Nice.
They back-to-back flawless Gen G, and this is a one-sided start to map 3.
Yeah, again, it's the reactions from PRX. That early space to take, taken control of by that high tide. Works a treat with the Thrash already available for something, and he shuts that push down. You know, an attempt at a pretty decent looking execute, I thought, with the stake bite and the paint shells in the back to clear the tube area for Gen G, but it's just immediately countered by PaperX. They're reading this every step of the way so far, but Sheriff's in Gen G's hand. These are the rounds where they can really turn a map on its head. We see this time and time again with them. And they start picking the pace up after they get a thrifty.
Oh, the boom bot timing is very good from Jing, though. They sense the Trailblazer early. Going through the high tide, Texture will track him through the wall, and that will give him another orb. That's the showstopper online, Mind Freak. Is he aware of that possibility? He gets past the trap wire. Not sure if he was spotted on the cam yet either. Meteor still waiting for it. He's not aware of it at all. Mind Freak somehow enters the Matrix and goes by all the Cypher setup. Showers back in control for PaperX. And meanwhile, during all of that, something has wrapped around for the B side. Gen G is just trapped. They know they have to go. They'll send the showstopper, but they won't find a target. They have not actually gained any more space until Munchkin finally gets a kill to clear out Shabads. Something with a nice answer back. Spike still not planted. Gen G waiting to see if they can gain a little bit more control. The Cove used for Forsaken to reposition. Munchkin, he's got a weapon, but something spots the barrel first, and that's Gen G's numbers dwindling. Spike still not planted as Karon just cannot figure out the exact angles to hold here. No weapons in hand, just a Sheriff.
Yes, my kids are
pistol that's really that one Gen G can trust upon. Spike finally goes down, wants to isolate the 1v1s, but unaware entirely of something's position as he was last seen in Ace short. It's coming through showers, and Karon has no clue, and something will get a triple, and Forsaken gets the defuse.
Yeah, this is a big win for PaperX. It looked like it was going to go Gen G's way, potentially getting the showstopper available, but it's these timings that PaperX is so confident to take. Even though they lose a player, they know that they can get ahead of you. They can outthink you if you just push. Because, you know, you expect maybe that there's going to be a player watching this, but nobody needs to. You know, you would think, okay, we got our kill, we can leave, we got our showstopper, we're good to go. There's no way they're going to try to chase that down, right? We saw this on Lotus a lot, too. Where they would just, when there's the rotates coming through from Gen G, PaperX is so confident that it's going to be a pull-off that they can just go right through and get those kills, and that breaks the round open. Something with a great lurk, doing a good job. Oh, the flash catches Munchkin. Gonna have to back off, and this is what I'm talking about. They're just happy to start taking this space.
I mean, it's the entire left side of the map pretty much pressured through. Now, they haven't quite taken control of B long, but they do have an off on the side of A short, by the way, and held by the Sky, rather, on Divide. And so if Gen G ever chooses to rotate, that's going to be a rude surprise for them, as PaperX is now stabilized back onto the B site. Munchkin, fairly aware of a potential lurk here in window. But will they get the clear? It has to be a double swing. Munchkin and Meteor, they were so good on map 2, but they isolated to the 1v1s, and something swings out for the second. Munchkin and Meteor shut down. Thrash used to continue pushing out, and now they all group up. They don't want to let the fights get into the advantage of Gen G. The TP as well, as they look to protect the spike. Run down the clock. Lakia, a nice peek out against the operator, but still so many more to go. Mind Freak's position unknown to Gen G as he creeps on the rotate.
I'm expecting Jing to blast out of here at some point. Just to try to deal with him, but he's going to hold the position on top of the box.
He's not spotted. Finally, they get an inkling of where he's at. They did pick up the spike, but they all run in. And Texture barely getting away with his life, but he's got 20 seconds. And Jing somehow jumps backwards off of the opponent's blast pack and stabilizes. You called it earlier on map 1. One of the best to land back on his feet.
He's unbelievable. When his aim gets broken, when he gets punched, he's so quick to recover. There's nobody else in the world that I think does it nearly as well as him. There's some great raises on there, no doubt about it. Second, of course, is absolutely phenomenal as well in those situations. But time and time again, he's been so darn good. And these lurks have been all over the place. Something doing a great job on this Gecko using his utility. There's one in the previous round that I really liked during this, not the very previous round, 2 rounds ago, where something is coming through short. He throws the Dizzy, and Forsaken immediately reads, because the Dizzy doesn't get any contact, that there's probably somebody lurking in the smokes by the boxes on the site. And It's things
Oh,
like this.
bisa,
It's these
Cok.
mental protocols.
Dua
This huge IQ
dua
that
orang
PaperX
langsung nol
actually
aja.
has.
5 ronde
You know, I think
kan.
so many times people are like, oh, you know, what are you going to do? They make confidence plays and stuff like that. Sure, they do that. But they also have a tremendous understanding of the map, of the space that they have, of the utilities abilities, and things like that. So you're seeing it all the time. I love this Gecko because it's getting so much more information. It's helping them maintain control of this hookah into market area. It's making it really difficult for Gen G to get anything done, and then there's always some player. You never know who it's going to be. I mean, for the most part, Mindfreak has been planting his feet on that A side, hasn't been moving. This time he comes around, catches them at a very unexpected timing, basically shuts the round down.
Yeah, the Lurks really kind of trading positions back and forth. You push out from one, and then it's the next runner-up on PaperX. We'll see if that continues. This time a much deeper high tide.
Perang beneran.
That will get everyone from Gen G tagged up and be long. And with the snakebite landing, PaperX are going to back off. Look to hold at a distance as something cast with holding onto Hookah all on his lonesome. Hit available for Munchkin if Gen G is able to get onto the site. Something they can use to try to get their first round win. But of course, good ultimates on the other side as well.
Good camera placement here by Meteor, knowing that they've been pushing space all over the map. And of course, they're going to try to regress it. Mindfreak going for it. He's got that ultimate in the bag. Trying to play a little bit of defense here for PaperX. Have the Seekers as well.
Oh, the Bosch timing's very good. Forces him to have to clear it out from afar. And Divide will get one. Something, he's stuck behind the box. Can he stay alive? Just trying to land it. And there, it's going to be a kill onto Jing from Kara. But Mindfreak's already way past as he goes for a triple. Filing out for TP. They were not aware of the re-clear from Mindfreak. And Gen G is starting to lose a grip of this map one piece at a time.
Lumayan ada satu dia.
It's just so fun to watch. The way that PaperX plays, the way they think, it's so different. A good dizzy setup there for that corner. The cabbage is a bit late. It comes through that teleporter because I think there's some awareness of Gen G that PaperX could be out there somewhere. It's just those cabbages kind of take a moment to turn that angle, and by that point, Mindfreak's already ahead of you.
Ya
Now,
ampun.
a little bit of space being taken through short A this time, expecting an A hit, and it's just Forsaken all alone on this A site. Everybody else pushing out. So again, the protocol is so good here for PaperX, where this lone player isn't overcommitting, trying to take a trade, waiting this out. Now there is a spam, and somehow Forsaken gets one.
Oh, and the code to keep himself alive as well. He repositions. They would have to push it if they want to clear, but Karon waits patiently from afar. Gets the one-to-one trade. The Seekers now coming out from PaperX, leading them back into the site, and there is the Orbital Strike, does quite a bit of damage. Something, all on his lonesome. It's going to be a 2v1, but how does he stay alive in all of this? Picks up a kill as well. The chaos where PaperX was born carries him through, keeps the pit at bay. Now the Orbital Strike from the other side as well. Karon just trying to buy time, but something, he's already entered the pit. Munchkin has to be aware of this, and something snaps on. Already down to 1 HP from the decay, and it's all up to Karon, and he cannot get there in time. 7 in a row for PaperX.
It's just brutal. They're just everywhere. All at once is PaperX. I mean, you know, Forsaken does a great job buying time, playing his life as best as he can. Gets the one kill, uses that cove brilliantly like you mentioned. And then it's the Seekers out, and they're able to trail that Seekers to get another kill. That dizzy is so insane. Something throws it at his feet behind him as he's jumping away to buy himself just a little bit of extra time, cause a little bit of extra confusion. And again, it's those instant reaction plays that PaperX has. Such brilliant knowledge of their agents, the way to play them, how to react. This deep understanding of the game that they actually have is just incredible.
Kasih pialanya ke PRX sekarang juga.
Peeks out right as the poison cloud lands. Wants to get ahead of it before it blooms. And this has been a recurring theme even since Icebox. PaperX knows that Gen G, if they're able to clear the site where they're util, they are near unstoppable. Wants to get one step ahead. Take the tempo back as an advantage for PaperX. Now, audio cut, and Karon will use that advantage to get the angle he wants against Jing, but they haven't quite cleared something from atop the box. And it's going to be Forsaken again with another kill. Meteor with the trade. Something spotted. Karon swings back out, regaining some of that confidence that we saw from the rookie. Over at Madrid, over during kickoff. 2v2.
Nice.
Freak. puts Karon back in his place, and Meteor will swing around, but he can't land the
Gila,
shot.
bener-bener tuh
And the
Aaron.
whiffs are starting to
Nyala,
come in
bro.
from Gen G as they are getting shaken up. They haven't had a tough map like this in a long time here in
Lagi menyala
2024.
anjir Aaron.
Everything's just going Paper X's way. The luck as well. Mindfreak found the
Loads
perfect
26
moment
berapa dia?
to cut through
Lihat
out of A
SC
lane
mana ya?
there. He had it under control, did Meteor. He was watching it. That's a really tough angle for defenders now that they have that bench outside of A
Loads.
showers. But Meteor looked away to throw his smoke, and that's when Mindfreak cuts in. It's so well timed out here by him. And he's even Forsaken
Suara
starting to
Jason
pop off
kamu
a little bit.
Yeah, they
melengking.
smell the victory right at their doorstep. It's been a tough going for both teams, but Paper X,
Oh di
they
Icebox
haven't
terlalu
lost a
bagus.
single beat here on Bind. Mindfreak at
Di harinya
12-3
gitu.
and 3. Back at championship level for sure. As we see Munchkin getting chased away. Paper X
Nyala,
cleared out A
abangku.
short. Once again, it's going to be something left on the lurk, an immediate cascade, and an immediate rotate in the works. The smoke's coming out from
Multi, Cok.
Brimstone just to buy
Fire in the
time.
hole.
This is just to allow them to make sure they regroup. But
Mati, Cok,
Devon's
laki
about
ya,
gets to spam
kambing.
through the wall, gets the kill onto the sky. The showstopper won't find him just yet. And now, Gen G playing with numbers down. Something will have to hit the trip eventually. But during all of that, Paper X setting up, and look at this.
Mampus.
Odin spam comes through once again, forces him away from backside. Gen G, they're not quite sure where to hold for post-plant. And there's the guiding light. It draws their crossers away for the anti, and Forsaken swings with it. There's a high tide. Now, all down to Karon to try to hold on into the site as his teammates are busy with the flanks. Karon gets one. Meanwhile, the
Mampus,
Dizzy
terang-menerang
pushes
tuh.
Meteor away. Munchkin with a trade, but he goes down. Meteor holding on, but Forsaken's there.
Kambing.
And Paper X
Mampus,
string
9-0.
together yet another for 9 on the board.
I mean, this is so incredibly well thought out here by Paper X. They get the space early, they send the long lurk again
Kasian
with
banget ya.
something. But they have so much money, they're max buy, that Devi's like, I'm going to grab 2 guns this round. I'm going to grab an Odin and a rifle, because he swapped out after he got that first kill. And they just know, they know where Gen G wants to go, so they give that space up willingly. It's something we've been doing time and time again on this map, and it works every time. It's such a great game plan here drawn up by Alex and Paper X, because they have so many answers. And Gen G finally feels like maybe we've got some comfort. We can get that beat post-plant. Yeah, you got to call the second timeout. What are you going to do?
Yeah, trying to hold on to it for as long as possible. But you let go of another round here, and it all comes down to the pistol round in the second half. So Gen G now
12-0
hoping for the
kayaknya.
ever-infamous
Beneran 13-0 kayaknya.
9-3 score line to carry them
Yeah.
over into the second half. You can see on Meteor's face, they haven't been pushed this far in a long time. I mean, I would say even at the Grand Finals of Masters Madrid, it started to slip away near the end, but it felt like they always had a fighting chance.
Yeah, until that last map. I mean, that was really, up until then, you know, the backbreaker was split. It felt like for sure for Gen G, but they were fighting through the nail through those first 4 maps, no doubt. This is absolutely the most they've been tested. I'm with you, Will. This has been just absolutely brilliant the way that to watch Paper X's game plan for this, because Gen G has not been able to find answers. It's always these stacked pushes that Paper X is willing to do, because they're happy to scrap with you. They're happy to take those big death ball battles and see if they can come out, just rely on their tremendous individual mechanics to get them over the line. And then if that doesn't happen, they start taking tons of map space, and then they have answers for when they give that space up. It's whether it's an Odin or just, you know, good play, good cautious play by Mindfreak or Forsaken. All of these things working so well for Paper X.
So Gen G, this time, perhaps trying to use the timeout as a bit of a mind game, making sure that they don't actually lose the tempo. They're going to pick it up just a little bit. They've already tried to clear Hookah. They take a headshot, but it's going to be an answer right back from Munchkin. So Texture low, but something down as Gen G leads 5-4 in numbers. Texture lands right outside of that link all the way to defender spot. Now they'll get the spike down. They have the orbital strike. They've got the tools to finally get around, but the code comes in and tries to fill it again, but Forsaken's ready for it. One step ahead yet again. The Reckoning will tie and block you. It's going to be the pop flash. You'll be good for 1. But it's going to be another cascade. Vision now blurred away from Gen G. Orbital strike has to be used to buy time. The spray to ensure. Allows Devi to close the gap. 2v3 for Paper X. Devi, can he get the kills he needs to protect his teammate? No, it's going to finally be a 3-man win for Gen G. They put their first win on the board.
Yeah, good tempo change here for Gen G. No longer playing cautious.
Aja di 13-0.
The fact that Paper X doesn't take Hookah control early this time costs them a little bit. You know, yeah, something gets a dink, but he's caught on the way out by Munchkin. Good read by Forsaken there, knowing that Texture was going to get aggressive into that cove. Shorty at the ready well before Texture was pushing in there. Then he's able to find a couple big kills, a good cascade, take a little bit of space, an early tap of the spike to try to bait out that ultimate. Do a lot of good things there, does PaperX, but it's just deeper this time for Gen G, and that first kill is huge for them. The fact that they come out of that and are able to get into a much more comfortable post plant. Look at him trying to hide from Mind Freak. Not sure if he got spotted or not by that.
He still gets one. That's the best that Gen G could have hoped for. So now a one-for-one trade. You heard all the TPs. Gen G, what's the plan here? They're trying to push the defender spawn, but the spike is already dropped by Lakia. He's caught unawares away from his teammates. There's the flash towards backside, and the showstopper will be the one to secure the kill. Texture noted as well. He's tied up now in a crossfire between 4 members of PaperX, and Jing throws the crosshairs, gets the kill himself, and the judge will not do anything. Justice is served by PaperX.
Last round before the
the judge be judged to finish it. But really interesting here. We're watching Forsaken's perspective on A. He gets that kill, swings the box, can't steady his aim over on the other side, and then Jing has the showstopper and he pulls off. He doesn't want to give up that extra kill, so he swings back to the box and trusts Jing to take care of it. So great coordination between these two players, as you would expect. Been playing together for so long. Just the bromance there between Forsaken and Jing coming through. I mean, this is unbelievably dominant right now.
That's something that everyone around the world started to notice, right? It wasn't about individual player skill level or anything like that, but these are just soulmates now back in form, playing together, and Texture's trying to tear apart the link between those two. Jing now goes down. Gen G trying to take over the site, but they haven't quite cleared Hookah just yet. Something's still lurking around with the judge. He finds a site briefly of Meteor. Now just trying to keep him tied up. Something will continue to push away. Spike still not planted just yet. The site surrounded by PaperX. Something trying to throw a curveball, going all the way around B-Long, but Karon will swing out, get two. The rookie putting some numbers back on the board, trying to bring home just one more round, trying to keep the hope alive for Gen G as all 5 remaining members will hold on to dear life here on the site. Mind Freak gets one through the spam, but it looks impossible. As cold as he can get, it's just too many targets, and Texture with 3. It's going to be a 2-10 half. PaperX leading with a...
Yeah, the only real success Gen G finds the entire half is those fast B hits. Everything else just didn't really work because PaperX was reading them throughout, or at least making their own reads off of the information and the space that they're gathering. Just absolutely mind-blowing stuff that PaperX does in that half. Every step and turn, it felt like PaperX was reading the situations incredible. It felt like the discipline and the protocols that they prepared for this map were really, really good, especially when there was pressure on that lone player who was left to a site by themselves, whether it be Forsaken or Mind Freak or Devi or whoever. They're able to play it really cautiously, buy some time for the rest of their team to make those long flanks, make those rotates, cut players off, get them in unexpected positions. That's something that PaperX could do better than anybody else.
See how it comes into play in the second half, as Gen G will desperately need to win this pistol round if they want any hope. Lots of fans from all across the entire country here in Korea coming to watch. We had a fan earlier, I think from Daegu, about 4 to 5 hours away to watch this match. And what a match it's been so far, but win or lose, the fans would surely hope for a bit more fight from Gen G here in map 3 on Bind.
Well, it is their defender side, and certainly Bind a defender-sided map, even in Pacific. So, work to be done by PaperX for sure, and a must-win pistol for Gen G. Or else you're going to have to go for a force buy of some kind. Let's see what they want to do. Looks like some kind of hookah pressure going to be established. Maybe Devi setting up Jing on the blast packs. Something like that. Although there are no blast packs to be found. I take it back. Jing's got the boombot and a...
Yeah, just a ghost.
HLs. Yeah, just a ghost. So, hold that thought. Sometimes looking to see if there's going to be any aggression here.
Oh, both sides waiting for it. I mean, PaperX, they've had to deal with T1 pushing out a lot as well from that hookah position. And of course, back at the grand finals of kickoff, Gen G also playing quite aggressively here on the defensive half. Gen G, the one with pressure as well, down 2-10. So PaperX will wait. They'll gladly wait. And of course, on the pistol, they could always just deathball it, try to win by numbers. But little do they know, that the stack is on the B side. Cypher set up on A to just allow Texture to buy time. Snakebite at the ready. It's going to be a crossfire with Charon, but Charon has to make sure that he's not the one that's first spotted. The Snakebite has to be good, but it's a wide swing out. But the flash actually gets everybody. Keeps Charon alive. He's going to be hit by the paint shells. Eventually has no exit. But time bought by Gen G. PaperX, do they go for a rotate or do they stick to their guns? They've noted multiple people in hookah, but they're still not aware how many could actually be here on the B site. Now re-clearing main. Only 30 seconds. If they were to TP away, they'd have to do it on a snap as they run into more members, and they're just looking to flood. The Dizzy goes down, the Trailblazer head, but Munch gets good for the spam. The bomb flash, but Lakia just continues to spam on a rhythm and gets two through the toxic screen.
Okay,
Munchkin
there you go. I feel like PaperX actually read this pretty well, but you know, Munchkin just well prepared with that Snakebite, shuts down that push through hookah. It was a good idea from PaperX, but not really able to find that value off that flash from Devi that they would have liked. It connected, but they weren't able to get the kills. Then Locky is just full blind, gets two through there. And okay, a good hold. Now PaperX, mostly classics, a Sheriff for Devi. It's going to be the only purchase outside of utility. And let's see what can be done by PaperX. See how much damage they can get. Camera in showers, so it's going to note this here.
Yeah, not quite clear just yet, but he heard all the utilities. So Meteor actually cutting sound, not letting them know that he's actually emptied the area. And now, realizing no more checks to Cam, realizes Shower's been let go by PaperX. They send the reinforcements over to B. PaperX this time, it's a little bit of push and pull. They put the pressure onto Showers, now going back to main, but this gives them full control of that TP. They could rotate back to the spike over on the A side any given moment.
Seeing if maybe they could get Meteor lurking. Nokia gonna confirm.
Trying to just create some space for his teammates, but they can't quite. Oh, Karen does find sight right through the toxic screen of his own, and now the high tide comes in. Meteor's ready for it right outside of Showers. Can he get the kill? So he's trying to go through. Waiting for the timing. Texture will push them away with the paint shells, trying to just make sure that they clear the plant. They do. And Meteor, he's going to land the first one. He lands the second and the third. And it's a quad for Meteor as they now get a fourth round win.
Yeah, great discipline here from Gen G. Nobody over-aggresses. Great anticipation of where that hit was going to be. Texture perfect with the paint shells. Makes it way more difficult for that plant to come down for PaperX.
What if
Meteor
it's
using that high tide against PaperX very, very nicely. Something, again, every once in a while you see this with PaperX, where they don't check angles, they don't check corners, they pay the price. Now, it is the eco, so not too much to worry about just yet, but you still have a fearsome buy to come up against with Gen G. A judge in hand for Charon, a bunch of Bulldogs and rifles. This is a big round now. Can Gen G start to turn this map around?
Oh, we've seen this at the Grand Finals kickoffs as well. There's he doesn't quite find it. It bounces right off the wall way too early, but now they know about the judge, so PaperX not looking to deal with that today in hookah. That'll force him back away, already trying to take control of Showers. Senses the cam, destroys that, and this is where Gen G will start to have to make some snap decisions. The camera no longer giving them free control of Showers. Munchkin fills it. Forsaken goes for a swing, and he actually wins the duel out. And that's the cue for PaperX to start pushing in. A long-range kill onto Heaven on Meteor as well. Texture, he's caught right in the middle of the site. He has to make sure that he clears his angles, but he can't. Lamb's already taken over as well.
Nice.
They swarm the site. High tide out to secure even more. Jing past it. Greeting for yet another kill. Wants to get close to that showstopper as soon as possible. Finds the angle. Notices it's Judge.
So tough. So tough. Although Lakia just bypassing something there. So some damage still could be done. He's only got a Bulldog. Fishing to see if he can get that gun upgrade maybe. Before the round is over.
I mean, they'll take anything right now because they need to scrap together everything possible to try to continue here. So many teleports coming in. Lakia's a little scared about this one. Not quite ready for it. Chooses to go for the double-triple, but only good for one kill. No gun upgrade, and Charon will die to the spike as well.
Yep. Now it's starting to look
it's still
rather dire for Gen G. Thought maybe with that buy they could get something done, but really nice anticipation of that position by PaperX. Having in the back of their minds that sometimes there's a player behind that box with the Judge, and the Dizzy notes it. when they pull off and they start winning 1v1s, Jing gets into that angle in U-Haul, but really Forsaken winning that 1v1 against Munchkin makes things so much easier because that Showers control lost. Then you're able to get deep into sight, cover heaven from there. At moments like that, that PaperX is so good and so confident in, every team in the world struggles against that.
Yeah, it's going to be the same cam here for Showers once again. I mean, obviously, gets him a lot of information right up until it's cleared, so we'll see if it ever gets pressured this time. But it looks like just a straight set execute from PaperX in the works. Mosh will land in front of Showers, trying to push them away. They're going to wait until the poison cloud is about to diminish. There goes the Dizzy. It's going to be the blast back in over the truck. Uses a cove for cover as well. And he lands safely into Lamps. The left side of the site taken over. Waiting to see if there's a peek out, but Meteor not going to bite the bait just yet. Just waiting for backup to arrive as Karon already goes down. Tags one, that gives Meteor the first kill. In Showers, Lakia good to cover on Lamps as well. Spike still not planted. It's going to be a rush to TP over. Munchkin's ready for it. They see the pings coming in from the neural theft. That's one. Can he get the second? He wants to buy time. Cannot get the kills, but dwindles the numbers down. 3v2 for Gen G. PaperX double swing out from Hookah. They will continue to charge forward. They don't want to miss a single beat. Something actually gets one kill. Now a 2v1 on the site. Meteor has to come in for backup. They need to get this crossfire right now for Gen G. Lakia gets one. Dizzy noted. And Something wants to isolate the angles, wants to group them together. He's going to go for the far wraparound. The spike planted for him an elbow. He'll wait to see if a push comes through. Gen G, not quite aware where he's exited. Neither of them checking elbow. He gets one, realizes he's not going to get the transfer. Thrash at the ready, sends it on a timing. Doesn't matter if he's, but he's going to wait. Jumps over it on the box, and Meteor heads up play over the Thrash. Gets the absolute read to keep Gen G alive.
The big brain counterplay from Meteor. Knew the Thrash was coming and gets above it. That's something that you expect PaperX to do, that kind of play, and Meteor outdoes him. I love this.
He was jumped up right before the Thrash even activates, right? Just knows it's coming, given that Something hides away. Knows that Something's not one to shy away from a fight. And Something for once punished for trying to play it safer and around.
You love it. I mean, I thought Something played that great. He couldn't use the Thrash in the 1v2. I really like that execute from PaperX, even though it doesn't really work out, where they use the high tide in the cove so Jing can safely blast pack to make sure that they can set up a crunch into U-Hauls. Didn't really come to fruition in that round. Execute was cool. You don't see very many teams quite do it like that, so nice little piece of work there. Opening trade, good for Meteor.
Oh, there's the showstopper. Can't get away from that, though. This Meteor was trapped in back of sight. Now Gen G still trying to hold on to the back side. They will have control of it for now. As PaperX, they try to push through, but Texture and Munchkin are good with their shots. Something trades for one, but it's still a 3v2 advantage for Gen G. Now Showers control and backside control for Gen G. They're going to start to pressure onto the spike. The Molly already having gone down. PaperX, they will have to fight for this round. And Mind Freak gets dinged. Something tries to go for the trade, but Karon gets one, and Texture gets the other. And Gen G will start to try to string together a couple more rounds.
Okay, stabilizing a little bit as Gen G. Starting to look really good in these holds. Able to just kind of weather the util storm that gets thrown their way. Meteor winning a big opening duel. Yeah, he gets taken down by the showstopper, but that makes it a lot harder for PaperX to push space on the backside of this plant. So calm, so collected. Stinger does some damage. Now it is finally going to be time for PaperX to take a time out of their own. Try to see if they can dial up something a little bit special, a little bit unique. I think the money might be a little bit wanting for PaperX in this round.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any type of force sub. Of course, quite a few rounds ahead, but not quite at match point just yet. So PaperX will have to make some of the tougher decisions.
They only need
they want
2
to go
rounds.
for a bit of a Hail Mary, or if they will choose to let this one slide and
How hard it can
regroup.
be.
As we see Gen G regaining some confidence. You saw some laughter on the side of Gen G during halftime, despite the scoreline. And perhaps just having faith in their ability to defend here on Vine, waiting for that half to switch. Alex, looking a lot more calm today than usual as well. We'll see how long that lasts. It wasn't earlier, that's true. And I feel like there's probably a reason we didn't see too many of his cams during Lotus either. Perhaps a bit more animated during that time.
They're going to be able to string together a few rifle purchases. The rest is going to be Sheriffs or PaperX, but, you know, we see it all the time with these two teams. Thrifty buys
Oh,
are actually
for
going to
sure.
downgrade to a
Electric
Spectre,
Soft
but Thrifty
cannot
buys
ready.
are something to be feared, no doubt about it. And Charon does have that orbital strike in case things get dicey for Gen G on the post plan or something like that. But
I mean, anything to buy time.
yeah,
right?
exactly.
You got the
exactly.
pit coming up soon as well. Meanwhile, PRX are
Not
close to
Rapini
another thrash, so could be something that they're working towards. They'll actually go towards the Seekers this time for a divide, now 2 points away. And they plant Jing. Now,
This deck
Meteor
is
changed
full
up his camp
health, no
position.
damage.
Doesn't want to lose control of Showers too early. Finally gets taken out, though. Realizes the lurk from Jing very deep.
But it's part of
There is
the
a
end.
plan for PRX as well.
Yeah, they're pinging Hookah.
It's the thing that
They were either thinking
entertaining.
about trying to go for some kind of
Watching
hit,
him slamming his
maybe similar to
Yes.
the previous round. Kind of set up some kind of crunch there. It didn't really get necessarily accounted for by Gen G as nobody was in that position. So maybe just a reattempt at it. Texture close to that. It is going to be different, a very different high tide. Try to give them the ability to take a little bit of space, maybe set up some crossfires. Texture trying to go for the early spam on the back of that poison cloud coming through from Munchkin. Here we go.
They're all decayed, but they have to destroy the tripwire. That's the cue for Texture to fire off once again. So all these smokes on the side of Gen G doing their job. Dizzy taken down, tries to clear the wingman. He actually gets it, goes for the blast back, stays alive. That means so much, but eventually he gets wrapped around. Now the orbital strike with the pop flash comes in, something able to stabilize the name before the Cyber Cage comes up. Lockia's here for backup. Now a 3v3, but weapons upgraded for PRX. Spike will go down. PRX get another lease in this round 18. Something spots the side of Munchkin on that jiggle. Munchkin as well goes for the check, but it's the
nice.
spray down from Jing and Mindfreak. And now the IGL of Gen G
Nice
all
point, though.
alone. Gets one, but can't get the second. Mindfreak with another triple kill. Multi kills galore for the controller of PRX as he brings them to match point.
Yeah, there's good ideas here from Gen G. The trap wire placed inside of those smokes so it can never really be identified. Good hold there from Texture and a great blast pack to get out of a potentially really bad situation, but the coordination off the back of using that ultimate doesn't seem to be quite accounted for by Gen G. And that costs Meteor his life because he's going for the Cyber Cage. He's going for utility. Doesn't expect something to be pushing out that side of that ultimate. That costs him his life, and that might have cost him the round.
Going to be that Odin coming out just to pressure Gen G. Sure, a quick swing out, but not going to be able to pick up that weapon upgrade just yet. And that Odin is just mowing down Gen G.
next lah.
Divide, letting them
Udah
know
sa dua,
that they
Cok.
will not push out ever again on this map as it's about to end in the hands of PRX. Seekers used. Lakia stuck in guarded. He will get surrounded. And Meteor's
Nice,
too
nice,
far
nice.
away. Lakia goes down. Meteor all alone
Congrats,
with
bro,
just
congrats.
the Gen G Classic and a Stinger. Is it going to be enough against 4 members of PRX? Quickly trying to go. Maybe try to get a weapon upgrade. Wants to go all the way for a rotate. Now it's going to be the orbital strike coming down. PRX, they really want to just end this map right here, right now. And by pushing out this
Muter
far,
lah,
they
Cok.
should be aware, even without a TP, that it's going to be a deep
It's
lurk
really
around.
good.
Phantom picked up, but so much time spent. And Forsaken, he hears it. He's ready for it. Mindfreak there for the trade in case things go awry. Meteor would have to be a
Odin.
180 flick of his lifetime to get this. He finds one, trying to spray down, but too much time. Forsaken swings out. And PRX answer back,
GG.
putting down their claim to the throne once again in VCT Pacific as they win 2-1 against Gen G.
Creative stuff here from PRX. What a game plan they had on their defender side of Bide.
Oke dah, mau rehat
Completely
dulu.
shutting down Gen G other than 2 rounds. Where Gen G had to turn up the pace. And yeah, it looked
Similar.
good. Coming
okay,
out of
bro.
Lotus for Gen G. You've been
Thank
going
you
to the
for
icebox, a
watching
map
with
that
me.
PRX has been shying away from for a very long time. Other than when they picked it last year, sort of given a farewell as it left the map pool, but now it's back. They look
Oke,
pretty
gamenya udah
darn good
selesai.
on that map.
Pensiun
Again, going up
dulu.
against a very tough
Yo,
icebox
pensiun.
team.